what the last month was that we played. So I don't remember what you do.
It
and
was
I'm talking
December.
when I'm supposed to
I
be
think last
silent.
month was May.
Yeah.
Time means nothing now.
It doesn't.
Hey, everybody.
All right. All right, hello and welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We're getting ready to jump into our Rogue Trader game, our sporadic Rogue Trader game. We're hoping to get a couple of episodes in now that everybody's locked down, or most people are locked down. So I'm trying to coerce the rest of the crew into recording a couple extra sessions, but we'll see what happens. We'll give you a recap for our last session. Venari.
I'll do next week.
God damn it.
I wanted to interrupt because I knew it would fuck up your flow, but also I will do next week. And that's, you can take that to the bank. The bank's closed, though. Don't go there.
The bank is essential. All the banks are open. All right. Yeah, this is fantastic. So
retake it.
Yeah.
We're doing it live.
Last time.
Literally.
You got to start with last time so you can cut it in.
Last time on, I can't do old-timey voice. Anyway.
Don't do that. No. What's happening? Damn. This is what happens when you improv. Don't improv.
Well, I'm not good at that. All right. So last time, Venari was doing what he does best, was drinking and carousing along with Emmaus, who's his sometimes partner in crime, while Jarnan and Kynnoch were actually on point, trying to take care of the mission. It's whatever, demons. So they came back in, collected up Venari and Emmaus, said that the warp presence was detected outside of the city, about a kilometer away in the mausoleum section. So we jumped on the shuttle, went out towards the mausoleum, did some scans, determined which mausoleum we were heading towards. There's beacons on the mausoleums, and it was coded to an old inquisitorial house. It was the Adolium dynasty. It's an ancient dynasty, and they were very adept at going after warp demons and chaos. So we touched down and found that there were some heavily modified tech priest shuttles outside the mausoleum. Venari sent the skull out to do some scans to see if they were active, see if anybody was out and about. Things looked clear, so we got closer as Jarnan started to look at some of the iconography on the outside of the mausoleum and realized that they were changed to be heretical, or at least to someone as well-trained as Jarnan is, knows everything inside and out about his religious practices. So he just lost his shit. It was a very awesome moment where the doors kind of flipped open and he's standing there with a flamer, little flame licking off the edge as the camera spins around. And as we go in, there's 5. Thanks to Kevin, there were 5 servitor type beings, or heavily modified humans. We fought those. It was a real bad scene. And Kynnoch figured out how to use his hell gun.
Yeah, I used my gun finally.
That was
hell
also
pistol.
A shit show. And that's pretty much where we left off.
Still practicing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We left off in that upper antechamber. We hadn't seen or heard anything else. We'd resolved combat, kind of patched ourselves up a little bit, and guess we pick it up there.
Okay. Yeah, I was under the impression you might have left the antechamber and retreated outside, but I was not 100% on that. So you can be in the antechamber if you would like to be in the antechamber. In light of that, you did make quite a bit of noise. It does look as if there's some sort of mechanical. Are you still in the antechamber, or did you retreat? I'll ask that first. Okay, antechamber.
We don't retreat.
There does look to be a sort of mechanical lift system at the very far back of the antechamber that you haven't approached to determine like how far down it goes. It's just a very large, like, lift winch type system. It looks like there's all sorts of, contraptions and mechanical stuff to move of probably like a 30 by 30 platform up and down potentially. It's down at the moment. There's just a hole, but you do see controls and things from where you're standing. It at least looks like there's some sort of way to manipulate it. So you have no idea how far down it went. The servitor type entities, the servitor type protectors, guards that you destroyed are, all dead. You're not sure, of course, if anything below would have hurt or not from where you stand currently, because you're still sort of like, I guess, Kynnoch teleported to the back initially and then kind of worked his way back toward the front of the antechamber. But currently you're not sure, like, you don't know how deep it is. You don't know, whether you should. Right now, there's no activity at the lift. So for the moment, it seems as if it's not like someone's directly like coming up to investigate.
Is there any sort of check that we could make on the corpses to see, like, are these tech priests? Probably this was done by tech priests. I get, like, who else would do this sort of biomechanical whatever. But is there any information to be gleaned by investigating the corpses, and what skill would that be? It's not a Cthulhu game, right? So, like, I don't know.
There is tech use would tell you of any like mechanicus manipulations done. There is forbidden lore, like demons, if you wanted to look for like corruption type stuff, or warp, is you could potentially do as well. So yeah, like there's any not like you would have to do it differently for each. So if you wanted to look for augmentations beyond just a standard servitor, that would be tech use if you're looking for the mechanical part. If you want to look for corruption or any kind of weird other stuff, it would be ecclesiarchy or forbidden lore, warp, or demons, or whatever. Right? So you'd have to take a different approach for each one.
So he, like, waves over to the skull and comes buzzing around, and he's like, can you connect into one of these corpses? I want to see, is there anything that you can glean from it? Because it has tech use.
Okay.
With the combo tool, it's got a 30. I don't know if a combo tool would be useful in this scenario.
They have, I mean, they are servitors, so they do have they do have ports that it would access with the combi tool, or it could like open the head plate up and start fucking around. Essentially. Okay. Yeah. If you wanted to do that, yeah.
All right, so I'm like, see what you can figure out. Transmit that to the data pad here. And it's got a 45. What would I roll a 30? So 1 degree success.
It's starting to, it hovers over the combat tool, comes out of its little, crevice that or little housing.
Yeah, it does.
And plugs into the back of the head of one of these servitors. It starts reading data and it starts streaming through your pad. It does indeed look as if these are Mechanicus created servitors. They are non-conventional in that they're not for what you would normally consider. You couldn't for instance, purchase this sort of thing doesn't match any known Mechanicus pattern on the open market. So it's Mechanicus of origin. It has those traces, but doesn't. It's not. It's a custom, if you would, model of technology infused within these particular beings.
So it appears that these are not off the rack models. These are highly modified. I don't know why the Mechanicus would do that unless it was for the thrones, although maybe they were perverted from their original purpose. Kynnoch, do you get any warp feelings from these things? Any sense of corruption? You have to speak up, Kynnoch. I can't hear you.
So he will close his eyes, let the third eye flutter slightly, and see if he can get a sense of the warp from any of these creatures. Can I do a forbidden lore warp?
Sure.
All right. Let's see. I am rolling out of a... What the heck is that? Int. So that is 61 out of 53. 0 degree failure.
Yeah, you don't detect any warp corruption directly now.
Yeah, so I do not believe that these have been showing any malfeasance from the warp itself. Perhaps their augmentation was intended then.
Perhaps. That is always something that we can perhaps speak to talent tracks about, but so we'll put that in our hip pocket for now. These would appear to have been a rear guard, so I assume that someone else is further within the crypt as the elevator is indeed down.
There is a definite sense of the warp somewhere within this area. It's just not coming from these drones.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a demon. That is why we're here.
Was there anything else in this antechamber? I can't remember if this was just a throughway to somewhere else, or if there was anything else in this room itself.
It was basically just a throughway.
Okay.
It had pillars and stuff. So this was sort of the. It's very ornately decorated and carved with, all the symbology, customary of a legacy family that, had hunted warp demons and the such. So it's very regal. It's old and super gothic, but in this area, there's not this is it's like the tip of the iceberg, a little it's not little, it's still giant, but then goes down, you would imagine, quite a long way into the earth.
I was just looking. Emmaus is going to look around at the walls, and while Kynnoch is doing that, and he's going to walk over to where the lift is, the mechanism to go up and down, and just look at the stuff on the wall to see if he can decipher what the the controls are. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go over and start looking while Kynnoch's doing his voodoo.
Okay. Are you trying to do you want to roll a test to look for something specifically, or
no? It was just it was just to see if the controls are
they look human made. They look they do look fairly standard. There's no it looks as if there is some sort of it has a terminal, a standard terminal that you would imagine, but it does look as if you do need some sort of credentials to operate them. I would imagine you couldn't just go down into someone's family tomb. Just
Yeah, it was up or down.
willy-nilly.
We can
So
push
yes,
it,
I
yeah.
would, like it's not just like it's not like an elevator. It is an elevator, but it's like an elevator that you gotta have permission to use.
Okay. So I will look at that and I'll see that entry point, that port, and I will shout, Captain, we're probably going to need your servo skull to help us with this. It doesn't look like we'll be able to access anything straight in from pushing any buttons.
Does it appear to have a slot for a card, or does it have a keypad or a vocal recorder?
It's a keypad.
Okay. So he points to the skull. He's a Kane. See if you can find any codes within. Thank you.
I forgot I was thinking.
Nice.
Is that another check?
Yeah, tech use. I would say just a regular difficulty.
Can I also inspire the servo skull?
You may not. It is inhuman, It's not sentient or sapient. So
Okay, no, that's fine. It never occurred to me before now.
Do a good job, buddy.
50 out of 45.
It continues processing. It's not like it can't do it. It just isn't. It's currently still trying to. You see on your data slate that it's like basically still processing, trying to crack any code available.
Okay, so we get the little spinning hourglass.
Yeah.
Is there any iconography inside the chamber that we could also investigate?
Sure.
Jarnan, you'd noticed the outside that the symbology was altered in a way. Is anything in here look out of place to you?
I don't know. Does it look out of place to me at all?
I'm not sure,
You'd have to
Jarnan.
give me,
This was more in your.
I would love to give you a roll.
Please, knowledge.
I do not have a single iota of knowledge on my character because it was on my wiped hard drive.
Oh fuck! I thought you said it was working.
Nope, it's not working. I am down to 2 hard drives.
Okay, so I was like, wait a minute.
So if you want, I can just do like a 50-50 on most things.
Well, so I'll edit all this out. Did you upload your character sheet to the Google Drive?
I
don't know that it would be updated, but
if I did, it's just the very basic one.
Okay, all right.
But let me see.
I mean, if it's just the basic one, your stats should be somewhat similar, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I'll see if I have any of them in my.
There'll be a couple levels low, but I'm sure it's not like you would have been pimping out a whole bunch of stats.
Yeah.
Like fellowship, I'm assuming you're.
Yeah, the one I have in my Google Drive is real old. He's at rank 1 still.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But his intelligence was 40, and you had Forbidden Lore Heresy. That would do, and that was trained. But I guarantee you had to have had something in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could roll 50-50 for most.
Yeah, I'll just go by the stats on this thing, and I'll figure out something.
Jarnan is not feeling very well today, so he's.
Jarnan's feeling disconnected from his god emperor because of all the heretical shit going on around him.
I guess we should probably have like some repository or something, right?
You want a
That we can upload.
suppository?
Well,
Yeah,
hindsight
let's make
is
a suppository. I'm like, yeah, we should probably have like your character sheets put on some
Yeah.
server somewhere.
That
I
does
don't know
make
who
sense.
else able to use the Google Drive, but
It should
the
still be
Warhammer
active.
40K is a Dragon Fisters folder, so I didn't.
We
even
should be
create
able to
that.
upload. Yeah.
So everyone should have been able to, I assume. Yeah, that's right, Bessie. It's on there. You're on there. You could have uploaded that anytime. Just drag and drop, bro. Drag and drop.
Yeah. All right. Well, for now, let's play around with this thing. All right. So, yeah, let's do a Forbidden Lore Heresy check. No, not at all. I rolled a 73.
Any subtleties in the carvings or changes you are unable to discern at this point? Died.
What about?
Alright.
I think I have Forbidden Lore Xenos, but I don't know if that's gonna do anything.
You can roll it.
I will roll it. That would be -5 out of 40. I got a 25 out of 40 for Xenos. Forbidden Lore Xenos.
There are no. There are actually no. Xenos markings
Okay.
in any of these carvings. If anything, you don't know enough of heraldry from previous families, but there's certainly nothing that looks of Xenos origin.
Okay. So after Jarnan does his, then Emmaus will say, I guess the good thing is there isn't any. I can't sense any Xenos markings on this, so we can mark off one thing to worry about.
Well, I guess that's good. We wouldn't want to have Xenos demons running around, would we?
Yeah, you don't want warp tainted orcs running around or anything.
That'd be really weird.
There has to be that.
I
that has
sit
to be.
menacingly.
Neil made a note of that
Of course I did.
All right, gentlemen.
You sold a bunch of tainted shit to orcs. That shit's coming back to you. You profit now and you pay later.
That's capitalism.
Yeah.
We profit now, somebody else pays later.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right, gentlemen. I don't wish to wait here all night. Kane, numbers?
Give me another check.
Yeah. 46 out of 45. Fuck.
It's still stalling.
Emmaus is going to stick his head into the empty. Should I say lift or should I say elevator? The elevator shaft, and point down and say, "We may have to do this the hard way." And he gives shoots Kane a dirty look. The Kane head.
You certainly don't. It doesn't.
There's no cables hanging in the middle like in the movies.
There are. It's just you don't see a bottom for sure. So
yeah, Kynnoch will actually. I wonder how far down it is, and I'll pick up like a stone and drop it off the edge.
Pick up a body and kick it over the edge.
Yeah,
right. Perfect. I'll pick up one of the servitors and roll it off the edge.
Go ahead. It's 40K. You got to throw rocks down the shaft.
True.
I wish I would have calculated how long that would take, but it goes for a very long time.
6 seconds, you fall like 150 feet or something like that.
Really?
So,
I wouldn't have thought that.
Wow, really? Because it's what is it? What's gravity is? Shit. How many
9.8 meters per second squared.
There you go.
9.8 meters per second per second. until you
I
hit.
don't remember much from high school, but
So that's
just right in there.
shit. Yeah, that's
I had 1.8 in my head, and I'm like, nope, that's liters per
What is
gallon.
that?
I know that from the
9.8.
urinals.
is going to be 10 would be roughly 30 feet per second. So you accelerate. Yeah, so in 6 seconds, you're going even faster. So I would say, yeah, it goes for shit 30 seconds. And you hear a very weak thud.
Ooh.
The thing's paced now.
Yeah, it's more of a splat.
Yeah.
You,
Well, yes.
as you are standing there, the lights on the panel light up, and the machines start whirring as the massive chains turn, presumably lifting.
Believe that we
platform?
might want to find cover.
Yes, you've let them know that we were here. Thank you, Kynnoch.
He does a bow.
How far away is the chain from the opening?
It's in the middle of a 30 by 30, so yeah, like 15 feet.
I'm going to
Ish.
spray my flamer at the chain.
Flamer probably wouldn't do much to a chain.
Well, I'm just thinking superheat the metal, it becomes a little weak, and maybe a link gives away.
I'm going to say, though,
oh, geez.
Jarnan, we do eventually have to get down there.
I can have you go down right now.
I don't know what the rules are on like destroying stuff. But a flamer, I feel like, couldn't heat metal of that thickness enough to break it.
Okay.
Unless you, I mean, you'd have to be standing there and doing it, but like it's also moving, so you're not on the same point. Even if you were trying to do it with if you had a plasma torch, maybe, but then you'd also have to be like plasma torching the same place, but it's moving. So you wouldn't be able to do that. So you couldn't actually superheat it because it's like going over a pulley. So
Yeah.
So to Jarnan's point, this thing is moving of its own volition. The servo skull didn't do anything, or we didn't do anything to get it to move, right? It just started moving.
it does not seem so. It doesn't. The servo skull is still trying to override commands, and it seems like the panel lit up. Someone or something
Did
is
something. Okay.
likely coming your way.
Yeah, but we didn't go and push up or down arrow and our floor.
You
It
did
just
not.
started happening. Okay.
No.
Yeah, Emmaus is going to look around to see if he can find somewhere to have a bit of cover.
Are there pillars that are close to where the elevator is?
Yeah, they're within. I mean, depending on close. I mean, there were pillars spaced through, so it would be. Wow, I don't know what I said the dimensions were, but it was
It
pretty
was like 100 by
big.
100.
Yeah, well, something like that. So, or like 100 or 150 by 50 or something. Yeah, so it was like pretty big. Yeah, so
Like
there.
within
I mean,
30 meters.
within 20. Yeah, within 30 meters for sure. I'd say there's pillars within 20 meters.
I wasn't going to go
Least
too far back. I was going to try to stay close to,
I think I said every 30 meters there were pillars.
Okay.
So.
Okay. He says, Kane, to me. And then he ducks behind a pillar that's, 30 meters from the door.
Okay.
Draws his hell pistol. I'm assuming everybody's getting ready.
Kynnoch shall draw his hell pistol as well.
I'm just going to step off to the side of the door. They come through. They're just being met with a wall of fire.
Okay, so
Or the opening, I should say.
you're standing to the side of the opening.
Jarnan, get in a cover.
I'll take like 2 steps back, so I'm like 5 feet away from the opening, and just look at him and like, raise my hands, and then just like raise my flamer.
Okay.
Do we want to question them?
I'm gonna like wisp. I'm gonna like mouth. I'm not gonna talk and give away my position like others.
He just puts up his hands like, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. You know what? Fuck. I'm just gonna do what I was gonna do.
Do it.
and You can do whatever.
Every
you're
time
gonna
you
do
do
about
it's
it.
really bad.
Do it.
It is. It's really bad because you should probably think about what you just fought and. Like,
Yeah.
are you just gonna stand there, or like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
He's standing right
that's-
there.
that's
He's
the
standing right
question.
there, and Kynnoch is standing about 10 feet behind him.
Jesus Christ.
Hell pistol
Okay.
ready.
I'll look over to Venari and just shake my head.
Yeah. As the elevator comes up, there's a large platform. You see a large looming tech priest figure with 2 twisted, mutated warp creatures on chains.
Oh, that's sexy.
Essentially, like they have like massive chains secured around their hands, feet, neck that are then connected to the back of the tech priest, like a massive, steel rung type thing that is connected to. So where is Jarnan? You're just standing in the open behind
Like
the
against
platform,
the
or beside
wall,
the
right?
Yeah, like I'm like against the wall. Like they'd have to walk out of the opening and then like, turn to the left to see me.
Okay. All right, I'll roll for that. They come up. The tech priest. There is a body of one of the servitors
Ah, fuck, I wanted to move those. Damn it.
on the platform, just smashed and crushed. The tech priest then sort of breathes heavily and looks around. He sees some of the bodies. He walks over, picks one up, seeming like it's nothing, just like it's a fucking rag, and then throws it, looks back, and sees Jarnan.
Who are you? Why have you come into this temple?
I am Jarnan. I am a follower of the God Emperor, and I have come into this temple because there are clearly heretics here that need to burn.
Then I assume you cannot be persuaded.
Well, what's the persuasion?
That you can leave with your life, or I will kill you here and now. For meddling in affairs you have no possible idea how to comprehend.
I comprehend that you marred the sacred symbols What do you have to say about that?
The Omnissiah requires sacrifice. And these sacrifices are worth what we gain for the people.
So, are you doing things down there in service to the God Emperor?
I do what is required for the Omnissiah.
That wasn't a yes or a no, and I'm a very black and white universe kind of guy.
Then perhaps we cannot come to an understanding.
Apparently not.
Venari's like leaning at, he's like pointing at his pistol, like shaking his head.
But I do have to warn you, you don't think I did all of this by myself, do you?
It doesn't matter. Those things were but toys. These. He waves behind him to the two hulking creatures, one of which is levitating and looks like a sort of chained hag ghost psyker. The other is a massive, brutish, twisted, maybe human at some point, but highly augmented and almost like if the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk had.
You're explaining everything as a demon.
Sorry. Yeah. Do you want me to re-say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at a massive tech priest who is carrying extremely he's very well equipped, but his servants he waves to are a wispy sort of levitating chained hag ghost creature with some technical augmentations and a massive brutish hulking horror, modified to some degree, obviously, to be more robust, but at the same time, definitely tainted by the warp.
I almost feel like Venari should come out and try to negotiate.
It's up to you. You have the like if someone doesn't say something, initiative gets rolled pretty quick. So
Yes, it does.
All right. Well, so it
You
can't
just
get
said
any
it
worse,
was
right?
tainted by the warp, and that's Jarnan's trigger.
So
I mean,
so,
they're definitely warp creatures of some sort. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Venari kind of steps out. He's got he's got his pistol in his hand, but he's got kind of his hands up, and he goes, "All right, now hold on. So you said negotiation." He kind of like holds his hand up to Jarnan, like just shakes his head, like just give me a minute. And the skull's floating by, and he's like, "We have some acquaintances," and he's kind of like waving his hand at the skull. With the Adeptus Mechanicus, and far be it from us to perhaps be in the way when we're not necessarily here to interfere with whatever you're doing. We're here on other business, let's say.
What is your business?
There's this whole thing, warp demons. It's a whole, we have to keep the missionary happy. Like, we've got to kill stuff, the heretics to burn. It keeps everybody happy.
I have no interest in the affairs of the ecclesiarchy. They pray and work their flesh to the bone when it could be made stronger with steel, titanium, and other methodology. I am here to harness power required to assure the omniscience ascension. And I've done it. These creatures are the epitome of technological wonder. And they will fight and die for my command. What are you to stop me? Who are you, peasant, when I have created such divine beauties?
Jarnan's gonna look at Venari at that, be like, really?
Well, so what is it that you're fighting against? I mean, I know there's always some certain amount of friction between the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Ecclesiarchy. Jarnan here is a prime example. But we need the Adeptus Mechanicus to help the Imperium of Man to flourish. If you're perhaps using those...
What aren't we fighting? Sir, what may I call you?
Venari Hallerman.
Mr. Hallerman, what, may I ask you, are we not fighting? The empire of man splinters under the weakness of human minds. The Mechanicus are pushed against by the Ecclesiarchy and the Administratum. The Xenos would overrun us all if they could. So we must fight back with as much power as we can harness. That is what I'm doing. Harnessing power.
He like holds up his hands. He's like, okay, all right. If we're all on the same page, Jarnan, if he's gonna, kill heretics and Xenos, that's gotta make you happy, right? I mean,
I can understand using evil to fight evil, as long as you are doing this in the name of the God Emperor and to further his divine cause.
that might be a stretch, Jarnan. I don't.
They
have their own
any
thing.
problems.
I suppose that depends on whether you believe the Omnissiah and the God Emperor are one and the same. I don't care. I serve the Omnissiah. The pinnacle
I've never heard
of mankind.
I've never heard any information to discredit them being one and the same. How can you
Then I
have two
suppose-
different omni-powerful things?
I don't ask those questions. All I know is I serve the one who has gifted us these talents.
As
And
do I.
if you agree, then I'll be on my way.
Venari kind of looks from the tech priest to Jarnan back to the tech priest again. Like, did that just happen?
We're going to have a catechism now. We're all going to sit down and pull out the book and study.
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
If you have no objections to us continuing on our mission as well, perhaps if you could provide the code to the lift, that would be most helpful for us.
I'm sorry. I thought we came to an understanding. Your mission is what?
The demon, after all. We came to speak with the demon.
There are no demons.
I beg to differ.
He points at Kynnoch and he's like, he has a feeling about that kind of stuff.
Can you give me a...
Can you give me a Sinessence check?
I
getting
can.
While you're doing this, Emmaus is looking back towards the entry where we came in, and he's just sliding back another pillar closer to the door.
Are you stealthing from pillar to pillar?
And he's trying to see if he can.
I would
fit
pay I would pay so much money if Emmaus escapes and then like everyone else dies, and then it's a new mission. It's a new campaign with him as the rogue trader, just doing his thing.
Where's the writ? Yeah, well, I'm trying to
I'm Venari now.
trying to see if the
Look
shuttle.
at me.
will
Look
fit
at
through the
me.
door.
That would be a 21 out of 63, 4 degrees of senescence success.
The entities he refers to that are chained to him
Mm-hmm.
are the source of the power you detected. They are likely, in your understanding of the possibility, are likely demon hosts, demons that were enslaved in human bodies and then bent to the will of man.
I will casually stroll up to
Which, by the way,
Jarnan.
if you don't know about demon hosts, it literally is putting the power of a demon with some or some less restraints into a person. And then controlling that person.
Yeah. I'll stroll up to Jarnan and kind of almost put my chin on his shoulder right next to his head. Just be, and I'll whisper into his ear and be like, Jarnan, I believe that they are his two friends. Currently hosting the demonic presence that I had sensed earlier. In effect, he has demon slaves.
So this is Kynnoch's fault then.
Josh is gonna like whip his head around to like knock your head off of his shoulder. And kind of loudly whisper, those things have demons in them.
Metaphysically speaking, yes. Not technically physically, although quite possibly physically as well, but
pretty much physically. I mean, demons are insubstantial to some degree.
Indeed,
so there are demons literally in them.
Yeah,
but bound
so
inside them. If that you kill the body, the demons go back to the warp. They don't die, but there are demons inside them for sure.
In so much as one can bottle the wind in produce that as a thing. Yes, for all intents and purposes, there are demons inside of them.
Jarnan's gonna turn back to the tech priest and speak very slowly so that he can understand him. My colleague suggests that you have demons inside of your two, well, for lack of a better term, slaves. Is this true?
He thinks for just a second.
They are bound inside the flesh, yes, but contained and controlled by not just the flesh and the word, by my machine.
Okay,
They do my bidding.
My only question is, what do you do with them when you're done with them?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
If you are finished with that specific demon, what do you do with the demon?
The work of the omnicide. ever done. My work will never be complete. I will use them until they are nothing. We'll create more.
I will say, Jarnan, the essence of the demon, even one that we run into, is never fully gone. It simply returns to the other side of the veil. I believe, though, in this instance, what he would do is use them up slowly until their essence actually dwindles into the power source that is no longer usable, at which point he would return them, but they would be a mere fraction of their original power. But yes, I believe that he would just kind of drain the tank, so to speak.
That is likely not correct. The form is imbued with some power, yes. Powers beyond the flesh. But when sent back to whence it came, it likely is same, unchanged, as if I had never found it in the first place. Well,
That's your
entirely true.
opinion.
It may have a grudge. I fear no demon.
Well, while you're putting the demon to use, it actually can't work against the God Emperor. It works for the God Emperor.
It works for whoever I say it works for, so I suppose yes. By your transitive logic, that would be correct.
John, and I
Well-
have to say, I am very much a fan of the open-mindedness that you are showing right now. It shows vast improvement in evolution in your theories. Bravo.
I am going to take that as the compliment you did not wish it to be.
Oh, indeed, I did mean it as a compliment.
However, you are correct. I do not see a problem with this.
Venari slowly turns and looks at Jarnan. Okay.
The tech priest looks Venari up and down.
You are not one of the administratum or a member of the Imperial Navy. Perhaps you're a free trader of sorts.
He pulls himself up to his full height and kind of like pulls down the front of his coat. He says, yes, I am a rogue trader of the House Hallerman.
He raises an eyebrow.
Perhaps motivated, of course, as you are by wealth and power. Amenable, then, to a business relationship. I work with other rogue traders in my trade, and as I said, these entities do as I command. And as I command, they will do what is commanded of them by another, if I say it so. For enough throne, of course. And I have means of assuring the safety of those buyers as well. Perhaps, if you're interested, there could be a business relationship to profit both myself and my fellow members of the mechanics, as well as a number of good Imperial citizens, as you would say, looking to harness the power of the warp against themselves. What greater threat could you have to the warp than is in itself at your command?
That isn't.
The power is near infinite.
Yes, I assume that it would be. You raise an interesting proposal, and he kind of like raises an eyebrow at Jarnan. He says, aside from thrones and power, I am also concerned for my immortal soul as well, as my second in command is a man of the faith. If he could be persuaded, and it seems that perhaps he has been to some degree, we may be able to reach some sort of an arrangement.
The tech priest looks at Jarnan, raises an eyebrow, and then some of his McCandrites are like,
Wait, what type of arrangement do you have in mind? What is it that you trade in? Is it just creatures such as these?
Well, of course, the creatures are our most valuable asset, of course, but we do have access to a material that negates the power of these demons as he walks out.
as he walks over and caresses the face of the giant one.
In case they break free of their bonds, of course we cannot bind a demon completely. But if they do, then we simply remove its power.
He pulls Mechandrite kind of pulls a vial out of one of his many pockets on his cloak to show a completely black gel-like substance. As he's like, yes.
That is very interesting. And he, like, his eyes flick over to Kynnoch because Kynnoch probably knows what it is too.
Oh, yeah. Kynnoch's eyes go wide a little bit. It's like, when exactly did you procure this substance?
I won't divulge all of our secrets, but for some time, as you know, the secrets of Mechanicus can preserve the life of humans for eons beyond the normal lifespans. So yes, I dealt with it for some time and used it to channel certain individuals into my care.
So if my time's a little off on this, we handed our vial over to the Mechanicus to what? Probably 5 or 6 months ago? Maybe less?
Less.
6 months,
probably.
maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And what's
this is well beyond that. This is well before that. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting the sense of.
Based on the information you had, I'm trying to look if you actually had the information directly, but essentially, like, Valentine, where you was trading in that black stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like when all of their psychers, quote, disappear, where there were no psychers, quote unquote,
Right,
or no black ships could detect psychers for like centuries.
Yeah.
So.
Well, John, real quick, sorry. What's the name of the tech priest that we were dealing with?
Talon tracks.
Talon tracks. Okay, so yeah. Kynnoch will just kind of lift an eyebrow and look over to Venari, saying, "It is very interesting that Talontrax did not mention that the Mechanicus has a history of this when we handed the vial over to him," and then slowly turn his head back to the tech priest.
The tech priest takes...
Are you clearing your throat in person or in game?
In game,
Yeah.
he's like giving you a throat slash. He's like rubbing his fucking
A very
beard.
small step.
What did you say, Psyker?
Oh, no. Navigator, not Psyker.
It's kind of
Well,
the same thing.
A bound psyker, then. A slave psyker.
Ugh.
So what did you say? You encountered the substance before and told the mechanicus of it?
His third eye will shudder when he mentions slaved and such. He's like, yes. We had encountered this before, and we had done a trade with a fellow who had been dealing in this, and we were very interested and purchased some from him. And in order to decipher exactly what the substance is, we went to Talon Tracks and decided to discuss it with him, figuring that the Adeptus Mechanicus would be the best place to have it looked at.
Are you sure that that's because I think that was a different thing, Kynnoch? I think you're confusing a different mission that we were on, because that doesn't seem. I don't recall that.
Perhaps that was before your sustaining of alcohol. If I remember
drink quite a
correctly,
bit. I
you
don't
were
know.
quite deep in it at that moment, both in alcohol and women.
So Emmaus is going to walk back towards where everybody is. He's not going to be completely huddled up with the group, but he's going to be wherever the closest pillar is, and he's just going to he sees that Jarnan hasn't lit anyone up, so he's just going to like slide down the pillar and sit down on the ground with kind of his his bolter in front of him and just kind of look on and see where this goes.
Can I make a deceive check? I feel like we should probably
Sure.
roll some dice.
Yeah.
All right, it's going to be against
roll it.
55. Oh, 51.
Shit. Hold on. Let me see what this is. An opposed test. So
Jarnan, you might want to roll too.
let's see. What's the willpower? Failed the fuck out of the willpower test, so he believes Venari.
And like he's stepping towards, Kynnoch. He's got his hand out. He's like, no, that's clearly not. And he's like,
I wouldn't imagine you've seen something as rare as this, unless, of course, you traveled through some terrible warp storms to find it. Quite unique, only found here beneath this place.
Oh, really now?
Yeah, perhaps a sample, perhaps. What are the properties? Could you tell us?
Without giving away too much, it's able to, in some ways, inhibit or negate warp forces. Quite useful against these creatures.
As he strokes the face of the creepy twisted one.
So gross.
As you see, if the psychic energies of the demon contained become too strong, then a simple injection is all you need to sedate them.
As he pulls a needle pistol out of his cloak and fires it 3 times into the floating, writhing demon host, and it screams and lurches and then stops teleporting and falls to the ground and then looks more like a withered, augmented, barely life-sustaining near corpse, but human, just writhing and groaning as another Macandrite pulls the needles out.
Don't worry, it will regain its capacity shortly. But, as you can see, if you needed to sacrifice the vessel.
Yes, that seems quite effective. And what would you trade for such a thing?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm looking obviously for thrones, but in other cases, more important items, unique items that some organization had decided were too dangerous for anyone in the Empire of Man to see. Lost technologies, Xenos technologies, those, in some cases, buried away in the vaults of various esteemed organizations. Fire?
We happen to come across things again from time to time on our travels. Space is quite large, and we find ourselves sometimes in very strange places.
Well, of course, I would imagine you come across all sorts of interesting things. Out there in the Reach, I certainly am more than happy to consider interesting items as part of the trade. Otherwise, if you're interested in obtaining wealth along the way, you could trade these items, obviously, for my items, for interesting items that others have come across. And of course, as you may have discerned, I'm in need of psychers. Of course, they're the only ones that make appropriate vessels. So, any unbound psychers that could be subdued would make for excellent raw materials. Obviously, harnessing their talents to benefit the Omnissiah by increasing their power and reducing their will. Bent to our command.
His eyes flick over to Kynnoch again, and he kind of steps sort of between Kynnoch and the tech priest, and he says, I don't believe that that's an avenue that we would be willing to pursue.
Well, just so you know, your navigator's of no use to me. The Empire has already bound his mind and closed it to the nature of the warp necessary to convert him into a host. So, obviously, no threat to your crew unless you have unregistered psychers at your purview. But if that's not what you're interested in, then so be it. I have other means of acquiring raw materials.
Yes, this
Kynnoch
one,
will. Oh god.
This one has grown. We've grown fond of this one. You can't navigate for shit though.
Kynnoch will have his. Kynnoch will have his head down, just kind of absorbing all of this, and especially after what Venari just said, it's like, am I to believe correctly that you use psychers and those touched with the gift as vessels, as tools?
There are no other hosts. You must be touched by the warp to become empowered by it. It requires a psychic ability.
But you take away their freedom. You bind them. You control them. They are not given the power. You shove it within them and then take away all of their action.
He looks at Jarnan.
But these unbound souls reaching into the chaos are what subvert the God Emperor. We must take them and either destroy them as the God Emperor does to feed his beacon, or in our case, bind them to become something greater, a weapon for all of humanity against evils of the warp and the Xenos. Surely you can see it. You've said it yourself, priest. We've taken these poor souls corrupted at their hearts and harnessed them into something greater, something to be feared by all.
The way I see it, either one faction enslaves a psyker or another faction enslaves a psyker. There is no difference, but they must be enslaved, because if not, they are a danger to everyone.
Kynnoch's head will slowly raise, staring at the tech priest over Venari's shoulder. Say, "Oh, to be as blessed as they were to fully see beyond the veil. You are right. I am chained. I am limited. But you will see what even the power of the warp can do on such a limited factor. We are not tools. We are gifted. We are the only ones who can see through the mirage." And at that point now, his voice will start to like quiver and get a little disjointed. He said, "And there is no one who will use us any more to their own demands. You will not tarnish another psyker in this way again." And I would like to open up my eye.
Yeah, I figured.
I thought we were in the clear. Jesus Christ.
I know. I was like, I don't know. I thought maybe you guys had it, and then you didn't.
I thought Venari could talk his way out of this whole thing.
Long jackass.
I didn't know if I thought you might not die tonight, but now there's a pretty good chance.
Oh, no, there's not. We're going. All right.
So I don't know if everybody's here. The fucking cat touched my power button and fucking shut me out of the stream. So you're still here and the call's still active and we're still recording. But Kevin, Neil, and John, although John is typing in the chat, I don't see anybody or hear anybody else.
You can't hear me?
You can't hear me?
So I don't know if you guys want to jump out and jump back in again. Your screens are black and I cannot hear anybody.
That's fine.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I'll jump out.
Yep.
Stupid cat laid down. Oh, now everybody's out. Fuck my life, right? Thanks, dickhead. Get out of here. There's one.
All right, there we go.
You're muted, though. There's John. Sorry, guys.
Nah, no worries. Cats are dicks.
Cat's a dick.
Still muted? No.
Nope, I can hear you now.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Yay.
Now we're just waiting for Kevin.
You know, Neil, with that haircut, you kind of look like George Clooney.
I'll take it.
I mean, most guys would. Most women would.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with George Clooney. That's the shit. I did. I heard that like even in high school once or twice with this similar haircut. Like someone was like, "Wow, he looks like George, like an old lady, not like a young person who mattered." It's like a 45-year-old at the time, and I was like 18. She was like, "Wow, he looks like George Clooney," and I was like, "Well, if you were hotter, I'd take that as a compliment."
Dude.
Zing.
Experience is a leveler of the playing field.
How do I get to fucking Google Sheets, man?
Why am I so dark all of a sudden?
Just making a Google Sheet and can't get
It's
it.
grimdark.
I really wanted to not necessarily have you fight these guys right now, but
Well, then
I'm
you
not
shouldn't
gonna
have you shouldn't have mentioned enslaving psychers.
that's what he's doing.
You know Kynnoch's hot points.
Did I? I don't remember it well enough. It's been a while. I forgot. I thought if nothing else, Jarnan was gonna hose him down, and he somehow convinced him it was like a good enough use that he's like, yeah, I'll allow it. I'm like, fuck. If he allows it, you gotta be fine with it. Nope. Jarnan's like, wait. So technically, you're still using it for good, sort of, and it's like, yeah. I mean, we're using it against bad shit, even though it's heretical as fuck. And it's like, okay, I'll allow it. And then you're like, you're using psychers to do it. Fuck you.
Yeah, to be fair, you almost had me when you were like, empower them with the force of the demon, and I'm like, go on. But then you were like, slave.
No, you have to buy. You have to buy them. They have to be 100% bound until the moment you kill them.
Yeah.
And if they revolt against you, you immediately trank them with the anti-fucking warp juice,
Right.
and then murder the fuck out of them. That's his thing. He sells demon hosts for use to do whatever, and then the means to destroy them if necessary.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
You know, according to the ecclesiarchy, other than maybe officially they don't love it, but like they might, some inquisitors would legit be on board with it. So if you found like one that was like legit on board with it, then you might have a serious hookup. But in the meantime, yeah.
This can be super bad, guys.
This is gonna be awesome.
Till he hits you with his fucking dart gun and you go down.
Or we can steal it from him and shoot the other demon host. And then all we have to do is deal about him and not the other demon.
What is
Are
this
you-
we? I don't have a problem with him.
Jarnan's like, I'm on his side.
Everybody else just backs up and forms like a haphazard ring around the three of us.
Hey, he's getting it. That's his shit. I don't know what's going on right now. He's got some stuff to work out on, and we're just gonna wait over here.
I'm gonna die.
Okay, yeah, I gotta look real quick.
Emmaus has my back, right?
See
Look, I
Maybe
stood
we
up
do
for you.
have a
I told him we
psyker
weren't
for
gonna-
trade.
well,
I can be reasonable.
Look, I stood up for you, and now you're fucking it all up.
yeah, I was. Yeah,
Just make sure you close your eyes.
oof, these guys are not easy.
Well, remember, he did trank one of the demons.
Oh, that's true. One is Trank, so I'm gonna give it
We waited that long.
some amount of non-power,
Mm.
and then it's basically just a person. So there's that, I guess.
Is
Yay!
it like a
Congratulations.
D10 rounds that it's strength? Like, what's mechanically? What are we?
Yeah, I'll figure that out. Let me just get this one more thing real quick, and then I'll fill that gap. Oh, they're all in there. It's like, where did that go? Too many tabs. Too much tuna. Anybody? Nobody on Nick Kroll and what's his name? John
Nothing.
Mulaney?
That
Too
is too
much
much
tuna.
tuna.
I only liked that one of the sketches was called a medically inadvisable amount of tuna.
When they went to the doctor and he was like,
Yeah.
know that you have a lot of mercury built up in your body.
Yeah. They're like, you eat how much? He's like, I only eat 3 or 4 meals a day. Like, of tuna fish. They're like, that's way too much. And then they give him the sandwich, and it's like, yeah, giant. It's pretty great. It's great. It's great. Okay, I'll ask you guys the question. Do you want me to at all dial down the craziness, or do you want me to go full crazy?
Full hog.
Full crazy.
Really? Do you guys want to end this game? Okay. Fair enough.
To be fair.
No.
To be fair, Kynnoch's the only one fighting.
From what I gather right now, they're gonna do this. So.
Oh, it depends on, I guess what everyone does. The question is, yes, whether you want an elite or a master stat block for one of the hulking brute one.
Whatever, I don't know what any of that means, so whatever you want, throw at it.
One of them is like, one of them definitely is more likely, but the difference is basically a higher weapon skill and a little more of a bonus on its giant hellblade that it uses.
I will say this, that I only have 3 wounds left, so chances are I might make it 2 rounds. Maybe.
Why?
No.
Can I just ask why anyone picked this? You could have just hid, and they could have walked by, and you could have gotten some information maybe, or
that's
seen who they were.
Not how we do. That's not how we do.
Jump out, then you almost make a deal.
Almost.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Jarnan is like the stealthiest motherfucker in the quadrant.
Clink, clink, clink.
I mean, if you hid behind things, it was right? You could have just hid behind, just literally, behind a pillar.
But isn't this how every single encounter goes with us? It's that we almost succeed, and then we almost fail, and then we almost succeed again, and then we fail.
Yeah, this is not going to go well. This one's pretty brutal. So
it'll be fine.
I also take negatives to stealth because of my fucked up mechanical lungs. So
I thought we got you good lungs.
Cool.
Did we?
Yeah, we got you better lungs.
We did get me better lungs.
I got you, boo.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Now you only sound like Darth Vader and not Darth Vader with a chest cold.
Right,
I sound like Darth Vader and not General Grievous.
There we go.
Let's see what my initiatives are. I'll roll those while you're rolling. Everyone roll initiative.
And then everyone else pass.
Everyone scream.
That is a 6. Ooh.
12.
Wow. Jarnan, 87.
Not that high.
No.
14.
Okay, Jarnan's a 14. Venari was a 6.
6, yeah.
6.
Same with Kynnoch. 6.
6. Emmaus was 12.
Yep, 12.
12. All right.
Now, do I get the jump on him since I kind of opened?
You get an attack without nothing.
Yeah,
they don't
that's all I'm gonna get.
That's straight up.
All I'm gonna get.
God, I wish I had a higher initiative. I almost feel like I should fade point to get a higher initiative. I don't know.
What's it gonna matter?
Yeah, it seems like Kynnoch's going to get an attack in before any of us anyway. I just glad I'm not looking at him.
Maybe we could mitigate it. I mean, if you're high up, you'd be like, whoa.
You make it sound like I would actually do that.
Jarnan's like, I kind of want to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Whichever one dies is fine with me.
8.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair, I guess.
Hey, at least Jarnan is consistent.
Yeah.
Oof, that's not good for him, at least. Oh, I hit a bunch of... Oh, shit. Threw everything everywhere. Okay. Okay.
I'm ready to pass
As
through
the
veil.
lidless stare... You blow on a lidless stare, I'm guessing, right? That's what you're
I'm gonna
Yeah.
open
Or
up
whatever
the
you're
red
throwing.
tide. Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yep.
Let me know what I need to do.
Opposed willpower test.
Okay. This is against all three, I'm guessing.
Yep. Oh.
100.
1.
I rolled a 16 out of 65. That is 4 degrees of success.
That's pretty good. Okay, so is this like is the damage like you roll once and everyone takes that amount type deal?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll save it and see who succeeds because my guess is
Sounds good.
nobody on that one. Tech Priest. Whoa. That was a fail. Whoa, that was a fail. Yeah, wow, okay. Well, this one might succeed. Okay. The Tech Priest and the Giant Hulk succeed or fail miserably.
Yep.
The other one, the Hag, even at a penalty, is going to succeed by 3 degrees.
Okay.
The willpower is strong.
All
in
right.
that cycle.
Well, so it says, should the Navigator achieve more degrees of success? Which I did.
the other. Oh.
Yep.
Yes, I took a negative because they don't have their stuff right. So.
Mhm. All right. So in that case, anybody who had less degrees of success than I did is about to suffer 5d10 energy damage.
Okay, is this
Reduced by toughness. It reduces. It ignores armor.
Wait, 5d10
Yep,
only toughness? Okay.
Yes, 1d10 plus my willpower bonus plus an additional d10 for every degree of success. So 5d10 total. So math. So that's 4, 9. That's a 10. So that's
Righteous
gonna
Fury.
blow out.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's
You might if
20.
you kill
That's
all
19,
of these.
19, 20, 29, and then we have the blowout is another fucking 10. So that's 30 and 36 plus willpower, 36, 42 energy damage.
What?
He's really pissed.
How much? Did you say 43?
No, 42. 42. 42
My toughness?
Yes.
Well, that's probably like 4 or
Okay.
5.
What are the toughnesses?
Now, I don't mean to be cruel.
I don't think any of
But
those are gonna succeed.
Venari was between me and the Tech Priest.
Oh no!
I would like to think that you stepped around me. Like I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at the Tech Priest.
I don't know. Do you?
So in the rules, if you're in between but you're not coming in direct contact with my eye, you do get a plus 30 bonus on your roll.
You gotta roll it, John.
All right.
He called it. You're in between.
It's
You got fate
willpower.
points, don't you?
Willpower,
Yeah.
yeah.
Power.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fate point to burn if
All
you
right,
need
so
And
it.
all you have
I'm
to do-
rolling
yeah.
70.
Yeah, and yeah. So you only need 1 degree of success, basically.
Oh, I got 37.
Perfect.
He was shitting there for a minute.
I looked at it. I was like, oh no,
73.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you describe what this
Oh,
does?
I absolutely
people?
can. Yeah. Yeah. So it basically opens up. So it's like a radiant heat almost that comes out from the eye, and it vaporizes the innards, crystallizes membranes, liquefies organs, boils the blood.
Okay. You open up your eye, and for a split second, it looks as if the tech priest is like unassailed by it. Until it basically is like that moment where like the heat starts cranking up. And then it's like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, where his face just melts off. Except by face, I mean face and all the metal components are like seizing and sparking and whirring, and then just blisters start forming and stuff is popping and gurgling out of him at the same time. The same thing is happening from like a hulking demon, like 3 times the size of a person, is like melting and just vomiting like its actual guts out, just like intestines, and its organs are liquefying. And at the same time, the writhing hag thing is still like twitching and like moaning, looking like for help, but then looks as if it steals itself for a split second before it just vaporizes into melted flesh and ash. They all are instantly essentially boiled to, they are like Terminator 2'd to death, like at the end where he lowers himself on the chain, except a wave of heat. It's like those people on that island in New Zealand when that volcano erupted. It's just hot gas just melted 12 people, except this is 3 people. They just melted them entirely to fucking nothing but melted, fused organs, metal, and ash.
So when the face starts to like Kynnoch says what he says and like pulls the thing off, Venari doesn't, it's whatever. And then like the face starts to get, he just throws himself on the ground, hands over his head. He's like, what the fuck is going on?
Kynnoch will slowly walk towards the tech priest, stepping over Venari, putting the hood back on.
What the fuck was that? I had it handled.
We are not tools.
Well,
Emmaus. Wow.
Jarnan's impressed. Like,
I honestly didn't know you had a power that could legit melt, like not just one but multiple warp. Like,
are you happy
hodes.
now? Our next engagement is going to be.
I mean, I thought like you're fucked. You're all dead. And you fucking use one attack. And you literally, like, went over the wounds possible. Like, one of them had 33 wounds and a 5 toughness bonus. A 5 toughness bonus. It had, I'm not kidding, a 65 weapon skill with a 1d10 plus 17 damage. If it hit you, you are getting cleaved in half.
1d10 plus 17.
Yeah.
Right.
And it didn't even get to move. It
Remind
just
me not to piss off Kynnoch.
I didn't know that was a power. Like
Five
that's
degrees of success, though, right? I mean,
we
the
have
thing
5
failed
degrees of success
horribly.
and
It was-
and a righteous
I had-
fury.
Yeah. Two.
I mean, a lot of things had to
Yeah.
happen, right? to
I
make
mean,
that-
Yeah,
Again, that's like that.
That was a
game where
perfect storm right there.
that was the game where we fucking were like, shoot at this planet, and someone rolled like a 1
That was me.
out of like 80, and then it was like, you blew up the planet. Like you fucking shot. You got a 1. Like you just. Yeah, any other roll, you could have still had a couple hit points and someone could have died. But no, the God Emperor fucking fated that
Oh, fuck
you
that.
melted them into fucking nothing. Less than nothing. It's so much damage.
Okay, so
And at that
note
point,
to
I will-
self, the
Yeah.
God Emperor is not the same as the God he
The Omnissiah?
was talking about.
Yeah, and there is debate as to whether the Omnissiah is the God Emperor or two
Dude.
separate entities. Nobody knows, but
You know what?
maybe
The
now you
message
do.
is loud and clear.
The God Emperor's
I
like,
get it.
fuck you. It's just me, bitch. Say my name, bitch.
And at that point now, Kynnoch will walk over to the elevator door and gesture to it and be like, anyone?
Emmaus will go over and pick up Venari from the ground and just do like a comical brushing him off a bit. And I'll look to Kynnoch and I'll say, I think our work here is done. You
Oh,
felt
you're not
a disturbance. You felt a disturbance, and I think he'll, Emmaus will gesture to the ground. I think you've very well taken care of it.
Oh, but aren't you interested in what's down there?
Wait, do you sense more down
Yeah.
there?
Do I? I sense.
Give me a sign essence. Give me a sign essence.
So Emmaus
Are
will say
you
to
gonna
Kynnoch,
lie?
yeah,
Because you want to go down
Don't
there?
lie.
do you
That is a 22 out of 63, 4 degrees.
So do you feel something else down there, Kynnoch, or are you looking for things to find that we could take with us? I guess that is the question. Are you sensing more enemies, or are you sensing profit? Like, do you
Kynnoch feels the opposite of warp presence. He feels an odd
anti-warp
Yep.
of warp, like when he has a very clear sight around your area, there is an odd negative, like black hole
Yeah.
type area underneath this particular
Yep.
building.
Just
So this
like
is like-
just like radiation, everything gives off even the slightest tinge of the warp. Everything
Yep.
has had contact with the warp at some point, and I am seeing as
Yes.
I am familiar with now, nothing.
It's like
Yeah,
the wheel
it's
of time.
very
You burned them
it's
out the
very
pattern.
weird. Other
Mhm.
what are they other than untouchables? There's a term for people who have no warp signature.
Oh, right.
Which is the only other thing you would run into that has like it's like not being able to detect like the
Mhm.
Big Bang like background radiation of the universe. There's like
Right.
no radiation, and it's very unpleasant for psychers. It's
Yes.
really unsettling to feel that because everything has some minor imprint of the warp at all times.
Mhm.
But this is like trying to look into like whatever it's called, like that phantom black, right? That absorbs
Right,
like
yeah.
almost like it's fucking off-putting.
Yeah, so he'll with his eyes closed slightly, and then you actually see that all three of his eyes kind of squint hard for a moment. He says, "It's the exact opposite, Emmaus. I feel nothing." And at that point, he will look over to Venari.
I'm looking
kinda
away.
turns his head because you've got your fucking scarf on. Could you like do something with the put your
Yeah. And yeah. Yes. And he will, like, he's now completely, not just hood, like everything completely wrapped up now.
yes, thank you. So nothing then.
No.
So
And he
down?
will look at you and he goes, nothing.
Yes. And, like I assume Emmaus is still kind of like in front of him, and he kind of like straightens Emmaus's coat because he like helped him up and like brushed him off, and he leans in a little bit closer and he goes, "You know, you're still my number 2, right?" And he like he turns you around, pats you on the shoulder, and he goes, "All right, so down then, how's everybody? Emmaus, everybody, you feel good? Everybody's okay?
I'll look over to Jarnan because obviously after what these two have done, the power dynamic shifted a little bit. On this.
Unmitigated power.
I'll look to Jarnan and say,
I guess it does get him for insulting navigators as being
Right.
like slaves and worthless. It's like, yeah, fuck you, buddy.
is there anything that would point to you not wanting to go down to do some more exploring? I think from Emmaus' standpoint, we kind of came and did what we wanted to do. If we're just going to do some looting, which sounds like is all that's kind of left.
Well, no, because I think I told you about the goo too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when he says there's nothing, it means that it's probably like gooed up, right? So like he can't feel anything, so it's protected. So there could be.
Yeah, I gotcha. So I thought he was just taking a dig at you, calling you nothing, but I would just say Emmaus was kind of hitting at his flask when he was hiding while the conversation was going on. So he's a bit bleary. So he didn't catch the nothing of what that meant. He thought Kynnoch was just taking a shot at you. So I would just kind of shrug and say, "That's fine. Yep, let's go."
Yeah, Jarnan's all for going down.
Yeah, and out of character, I didn't catch that either. So
okay.
I didn't catch the nothing what that meant. So I'm just gonna play it like Emmaus didn't know I.
Well, I'm not sure Emmaus, like I'm not sure how many people are actually aware of it.
Well, I think
because Venari had talked to what's his name,
and I told I took Emmaus off to the side and told him.
Yeah.
we were.
Did you?
Okay.
Because I didn't think Kynnoch or Jarnan knew about it.
Jarnan doesn't.
Jarnan didn't.
Jarnan, I'm the one that discovered it.
Oh, that's
right.
All right,
And
so
he was
Jarnan's
like,
the only one that doesn't know this is like
priest.
a thing.
Yeah.
That's why
I
I
mean,
said
now he might
Jarnan
have
should
assumptions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why I said
Jarnan just wants to
roll.
go down there and see if there's any, shit down there. Mainly because he doesn't trust Kynnoch.
And I think if Jarnan, because I think and Emmaus's kind of point was, look, if Jarnan's happy that we're going into a tomb and we're going to go rooting around, if he's happy with that, then yeah, of course I'm going to be happy with it. But I'm sure if Venari said we're doing it, Emmaus would have said fine anyway. So
Yeah, I guess we pile into the elevator.
All right.
and while before the lift moves out, Emmaus will kind of try to smoosh whatever was left of the thing we threw over the side off the platform.
Oh, before we get on, Venari kneels down next to the tech priest. Is there is the vial left? Like, is there anything left, or is everything is just completely melted?
It would have been melted. It's actually melted in it. Like the glass melted, but the black stuff is crystallized and theoretically useless.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Theoretically, you say.
Yeah.
Not practically,
yes.
theoretically.
Yes, theoretically it's useless. I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, Kynnoch could, at this point, likely detect some amount of dampening
from that area.
Yeah,
from
but I mean
that area.
yeah.
But I don't know
We
what you're going to do
wouldn't
with a solid of it. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in order to reacquire that, it would like be very
I
intensive.
mean, the point
work.
is kind of you inject it and it goes into their bloodstream or whatever, right? And then that's all over their body. So then
Well, and
suppresses
it's not
it.
like we can't get any more. We have some, so it's not like we're trying to scrabble to get something that we don't
Oh,
have.
no.
Yeah, I
we,
thought you had vials of it, right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
we
not
have
going to
one
worry about
vial.
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
but we know where the
theoretically,
hookup is if we want more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had 2 vials. Venari kept one, and the other one went to the tech priests.
Yeah.
I just figured if it was there and there's a warp demon, it would be good to have it. But if it's,
Yeah.
if it's fucked, it's fucked.
Okay. So you guys want to go down the elevator to?
Yeah.
So, real quick, as we're walking towards the elevator, Jarnan is gonna pick up the crystallized black goo,
Okay.
since it seemed of interest to the others, even though he didn't know exactly what it was.
Damn it!
And
They
it's
like
now
it.
a black crystal of something, and maybe he can, make use of it.
Make a
Yeah,
necklace.
it's now basically like a piece of like obsidian almost,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it just seemed like it'd be a cool thing.
and it's a piece of obsidian that sort of dampens the warp around it. It's not. It doesn't have the same power before as it had before. It has degraded some to Kynnoch's like senses. It's not as potent now that you've blasted it with like an insane inferno of fucking.
Yeah. It's like
warp
a
energy.
gray area now.
Well, I guess that would totally make sense when everybody starts whispering about the black goo and is brought out, and then we all sit there and stare at the crystallized stuff. And I'm assuming Jarnan would want to go grab it.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what? He's
What
like,
is
brings
the
it
best
out.
part
He's
is-
like, I mean, he didn't mention it and talk about it to you, and then it's like, oh, we'll just leave that.
And the best part is Jarnan has no idea what the hell it does.
Right.
But any
You can't
psyker
detect
that
anything,
looks
yeah.
towards him is going to be like, what the fuck? Why is he gray?
Which is interesting because it could be, it may not dampen entirely because they'd be like, is he an untouchable
They
or
have a signature.
not? Because it's, I mean, that's what they're using. I guess I think that was made clear was that's what they're using to hide psychers in order to sell them theoretically to the tech priest you just killed.
Oh yeah.
Was the black goo could make them so that the black ships couldn't detect, like no one could detect psychers, and then you could harvest them to turn into demon hosts, which apparently that racket is up in flames. So
and
that
not by
didn't take
Jarnan.
long. Yeah, that didn't take long at all.
We're disrupting the market. We're
About
disruptors.
6 seconds or so.
Yeah. It was less than 6 seconds. That was a surprise attack. That was a surprise round. I don't even know if that was 6 seconds. That was an instantaneous surprise round. Jesus. Oh, I should learn. Now I'm gonna have like I don't even know what I could do. The one thing I felt like I should give because it got tranked, the hag thing, it had a 79 willpower.
Wow.
And it rolled a 24, but I negged it some because it didn't have its demon power. So
Right.
I had to pull it down some. Otherwise, it would have been fine, I guess. So I said that
Now-
before you told me what your roll, before it had to
Yeah.
be before it was you had more than it.
Right.
I thought it was going to be a differential. And then I was like, oh, well, then never mind. It melts too. Otherwise, you would have. But then it was also like several rounds would have been tranked. So it wouldn't have done much good anyway. It wouldn't have had this
Right.
many hit points. So it's fine.
Now, just to double check, these things aren't actual demons. So
What do you
would
mean
I?
by that?
Well,
They are.
do
In that-
they look even slightly appetizing to me?
Yeah, their flesh is tainted for sure.
Is there
Like-
flesh or is
Yeah.
it just goo now?
Oh well, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, it's not like brisket. I mean, it is between either.
Oh, can I
charred
grab the burnt ends?
It's either charred to nothing or goo, like melted fat.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's not like a nice brisket or anything. There are point ends, because
Yeah.
it got charred as fuck. But no, they aren't demon flesh per se.
Yeah.
But because they were people's bodies containing a demon, it was certainly warp tainted and demon like. So it's
I'm gonna take it then.
It's like a Beyond Burger. It's not really meat. It's not really demon, but it's like pretty close to demon. It still bleeds,
Yeah.
So it's pretty close. It's as close as you get it to be that, other than an actual demon.
There you go. Yeah, so I'll in that case, Kynnoch will walk over.
Oh, God.
As we're all loading up onto the thing, I'll walk over, kneel down, and just say, "You can rest now, brother and sister. You are no longer chained to this abomination." And when he does so too, he also kind of reaches down and grabs some of like the burnt chunky bits.
Oh God.
Kynnoch, come on.
That's
like little pocket in his
I
cheek.
don't like it.
Perception check.
Yeah. Sure, yeah, do it. Yeah, perception check. See if he does that.
Oh, what the hell? 43 out of 40, so no, I didn't see anything.
Okay. You're like, that's a nice prayer. I love that Emmaus is just like gleefully unaware of some of the worst things that are happening. He's like, it seems fine to me. These guys are great. Yet they're eating demon flesh.
I think Emmaus' point is he knows he's a bit squishy, so he's like, look, I don't have to get into any fight, so.
Yeah. You're like, I just fly the ship, man. Like, I don't give a fuck.
He looked at
just the Uber. I'm basically these fuckers' Uber driver. I don't care.
He looks at Jarnan, and he has a little bit more a newfound appreciation because he didn't think that was going to go the way it went. And he looks at Kynnoch and is a bit shaking his head, saying, "I wasn't expecting that at all."
Surprisingly enough, Venari doesn't say anything on the ride down. He just stands in the corner and just like he's got his arms crossed. He's just like. Mm.
Bet he's not going to complain about my shitty landings anymore, though.
The things you do for thrones.
You're like, this guy can't navigate us through the warp for shit, but he can kill a motherfucker. Hands down. Flat out. He'll just fucking melt a motherfucker. It's like, but for some reason, he can't see at all through the warp.
Kynnoch is just the launchpad McQuack of navigators.
Yeah.
He's an amazing navigator until it comes to the approach. That's all.
It works out. It works out eventually. But fuck. Okay. All right, I'm gonna grab some more water real quick, but then you guys can discuss your plan. Before you're going down, there are several platforms. Hold on. Do I still have static?
Not at the moment.
Oh, okay. I don't know. There said some stuff. I saw that chat, but I didn't know where it was. So, as you're going down, there are multiple levels. It's a mausoleum essentially. So, are you going to like search all of them and go top to bottom? Are you going all the way to the bottom first? Are you gonna like? What's your strategy there?
So if
you need to talk about it, I'll go get some water. But that's up to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we can talk about it.
And then I'll be right back.
Well, I'm assuming when Kynnoch did his sign essence, he can tell where, because obviously Emmaus doesn't know this because he didn't know what the nothing meant. But out of character, I'm assuming you can tell where that pocket of nothing is coming from. Or is
I'm assuming as well. Yeah, it's a very pronounced effect.
Okay,
so
we're
I'm
not
assuming that Kynnoch would be able to tell as well.
Yeah, if it's on the 8th level, we're not going to stop at the 4th level. You can tell where it's at.
Right. Yeah, I mean, unless Jarnan or Venari want to stop at some point.
I don't think so.
Kynnoch is totally fine with just like making the ride down until he senses the level.
Yeah.
That's what I assume. Like it's so disconcerting because it's just the complete lack of any of that sensory input
Right,
for you that
exactly.
you'd be like, this right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
So that's why Venari didn't even like. He figures you'll get it sorted out.
Mm.
I'm gonna go hit the head real quick. Well, Neil's
Okay.
gone.
Okay.
Oh, you're a lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, no shit. Jesus Christ. if I had even missed one of those exploding dice,
Yeah.
then we would have been fucked.
How pissed you think
Well,
Neil
you'd
is?
have been fucked because Venari would have been out the door.
I would have been fucked. Very true.
Yeah, I was
I
creeping
can
towards the back
pilot
anyways.
flyers too. Oh no, it's spacecraft. Fuck.
And you know what? Fuck y'all. That's all my XP.
Look, I could have worked this at a really good deal. All you do is bite your tongue.
You could have. Hey, doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to happen still. This is all yours now. You own the entire process.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Do we reach out to the Adolium family or do we just keep our head down? Because it is their mausoleum, isn't it?
I don't know if this guy even had a connection with them or not. I can't remember. I don't recall them being like anyone particularly like associated with the tech priests, right?
I mean, Neil didn't say that they were. I assume, out of character, that this guy found a far off place out in the middle of nowhere and said, I can set up here because who the fuck is going to come here? This guy's been dead for 800 years. And, like Neil said, they don't come to pray at these mausoleums. Like they're interred, like that's it. There's maintenance and, it's just, hey, look how awesome we are. Look how big our fucking mausoleum is.
Exactly, yeah.
So nobody's going to detect them. And then because of the whole warp thing, they won't be able to detect what's going on either.
Right. That was my thought too.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess in theory, then we could, but I don't know how he's, we don't know how he's fucking doing that.
Get Tim down here. Get Tim and a bunch of his crew.
I mean, Venari, wouldn't know how to like summon demons and bind them into people, right? Like that's not his forte.
Yeah. Listen, Kynnoch will be more than happy to help that part out.
Well, if he was happy to help that out, he wouldn't have killed the tech priest.
Death Watch book.
It's because of the way that he was dealing. But if we get voluntary psychers who are willing to be imbued with the power of a demon and then still under their own control, I'm fine. Kynnoch just took offense to the fact that they were being used as an object.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And then controlled like pets.
Yeah, I don't know if that's technically possible.
I would assume
there is a psychopath to channel warp demons and get their power.
Really?
Yes. I was going to take that path as a psyker in my Thursday game. That's not Rogue Trader right now. It was actually Dark Heresy to start. And I took the other path. I also couldn't take. There's a psyker path that's like, I knew I couldn't use it because the DM would have just like I would have gotten into like a fist fight with him or something because he hates when people have powers that ruin his plans.
Oh, like dealing 42 energy damage.
Yeah, like he would have been honestly mad about it. Like he gets legit mad sometimes about, like, I had a character recently that if he is, he'll never listen to this, but if he would, sorry, buddy.
This probably won't make
Like
it in anyway.
his character's like a charlatan, and my character in it's a Warhammer fantasy game, so like his character's a charlatan, and we're supposed to be stealing gunpowder from an human empire like stronghold in order to sell to these mercenaries that he's working for that work for the humans, right? Whatever. So they're not like, it's not like we're selling it to orcs or whatever, but my guy is I rolled a doomsayer, which is like a guy with an end is nigh sign on like a street corner. That's like a fucking lunatic who's like, God said we're all going to die. And he's a flagellant, so he has to, like, I beat myself with like a whip every day. So here's the thing with that class. Here's why it's broken as fuck. My armor class, because I'm so scarred from beating myself continuously, is higher than our warrior with scale mail. And that's just because I'm all scar. Like, I have no pain threshold. I start every game wounded because of it. But like, we were like supposed to be stealing this stuff, and he told me that we were going down to kill beastmen, which are heresy. So like, I was like, yes, let's go kill these beastmen. And we fight some beastmen, and they retreat. And I'm like, okay, let's go after them and finish them off. And he's like, no, we should go this way. And I was like, wait, why would we go that way? Like, why would we go not the way they're going? Let's just run after them and kill them. Duh. And it's like, well, that could be a trap because they're rat people, because they were rat men or whatever, technically. He's like, it's probably a trap. And I was like, wait, he's like, that's like, you'd be a fool to go that way. And I'm like, why? We set traps for rats. They don't set traps for us. Like, I'm smarter than a rat. What do you mean rats set traps for us? I'm like, who are you? You're a terrible leader. I don't care what you say, whether you're my leader or not. I'm marching down this hallway and killing these things. And so like, he got really mad because like, he's like, I don't like using skills on players, but I'm going to have to use like my intimidate. And I was like, go for it. I'm not mad. You roll it. He rolled it. And I fucking willpowered the fuck out of it. And he was like, God damn it! And he was so mad. And I'm like, but he gets really mad when I have I had power sometimes, or just like, oh, I could do this. So, and he gets so furious, like he came up with something. And I'm like, I don't care. That's great. If you have a power that fucking melts 3 people in a turn, that's fucking crazy. I actually would have felt bad because I thought I was going to kill all of you. Best case scenario, at least one of you dies. Worst case scenario,
Probably
all of
me.
you did. So like, I was like, whatever. I don't want to kill characters for no reason, but like, I gave you an out. You didn't take it. I'll kill you. But you melted their fucking faces. So I was like, kudos. You nailed it.
That all works.
So yeah, I don't care when people, but like, there's a psyker clairvoyant or whatever is like there's a psychopath that one of the powers is you essentially, depending on how well you roll, get to know what happens in certain circumstances. So you like essentially like change fate. You're like a fate witch psyker. And so like, I knew it was going to get me in trouble because I knew he'd have plans where something would happen. And I'm like, oh, I rolled this and I figured it out because I know all. I can tap into the warp. And so I was like, I'll just be a different psyker that I'll just burn stuff because I don't want to get into arguments over like what my power can and can't do. I always say yes because I don't care. Rule of improv. Yes, and
Right.
something happens and I'll make it more interesting after that. I've already got what's going to happen. I was like, oh, there's some interesting consequences of melting those people immediately. What happens, guys?
Kynnoch has not the rest of us. It's Kynnoch has to deal with that.
All right. I'm back.
So while we're in the elevator, Kynnoch, Venari's on his data pad, like he's got his data pad down in front of him, and he's typing to Kane, check databases, who was that, to see what he could pull up in the records as far as who this tech priest was or could have, may have been.
Yeah, you didn't ask a name really.
I mean, I figured he could do like a facial recognition scan or whatever because he's videoing everything.
There's no
There's no face left.
Yeah, I was like, there's no face right now.
Well, before, right? But he records everything, so
yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. It's gonna take a little bit, but he'll start working on it.
Okay. You want me to roll something, or is that just going on in the background?
Is there an? Ooh.
I'm assuming tech use.
Tech use would work. Tech use. If you fail it, it may not fail. It may just take a long time.
I got an 11 out of 45.
Nice.
I'm not gonna take any time. Let me just double check so I don't misquote myself later. His name was Somnius Abernath. Somnius Somnius Abernath Abernath. He was a tech priest with the Administratum, relatively high level in the records until about 250 years ago. And then he essentially is no longer in the records. But he's a very distinct match for previous picked recordings of that tech priest. Dead ringer, but hasn't been heard of for over a couple hundred years.
Okay. He doesn't say anything right now.
Noted. Okay, so are you going to do... So it's a mausoleum. There's, 10 floors. Are you starting at the top and working down? Are you starting at the bottom working up? How are you going to tackle it?
So we actually figured that Kynnoch would just kind of have the feelers out. And all right, well, actually, first question is the nothing, right? Does he feel that, going down, period, or would that be a sense that he'd get it existing on a floor?
You would get... Yeah, you would... Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. I'm not going to make you roll for it, even. I would say yes. As you are going down, it is stronger the more you go down. Mm-hmm. If you continue going down floors, it's strongest on the bottom floor.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so basically the plan was for just to go down, and Kynnoch will, as soon as he feels the presence, which at the bottom, he'll say, here.
All the way at the bottom, then.
Yes.
All right. I suppose we should be prepared. No telling what the hell is down here.
Unfortunately, not even I can tell you.
He turns and
what? Wait. Why can't you tell us?
And he'll kind of cock his head to Venari.
Kynnoch appears to be having trouble seeing into the warp.
He will squint very hard at Venari.
It's weird. Maybe something built into the mausoleum itself. It's strange, but I trust Kynnoch to lead us in the right direction. This is his department.
And looking at Venari and then looking back at Jarnan, and then he'll look back at the captain and say, kind of in a slight hushed tone, but not trying to hide his voice entirely, hey, Especially with what we might be getting in, I do not believe that we should keep Jarnan out of the loop at this point in time.
Jarnan agrees with that.
It would appear that the mausoleum is perhaps coated in the same thing that the grain or the crates on Valentine were coated in. You recall the Kynnoch's inability to detect the warp in reference to some of the grain, some of the older grain, the black flecks that were coating the crates. It seems that this is something similar, perhaps.
Interesting. So was that what was in the black vial?
I suppose it was. It did seem to inhibit the creatures that he had on his back.
He's going to pull the crystal out of his pocket and go, this could come in handy then. And he's just going to put the crystal away.
Perhaps. He looks at Kynnoch and he says, if he was using psychers to bind demons, I just want you to be prepared for the fact that there may be more of your brethren held down here. I should have make sure that you don't get too off kilter as we proceed forward, please.
I am aware of what we might be walking into, Captain, and I am prepared to deal with the consequences of my actions.
He nods to you. All right.
Okay. As you get to the bottom of the platform, it opens up into a massive, just ornate mausoleum. There are tombs, just ornate as you could imagine, with various scriptures and engravings regarding the family members' names, their deeds. Gold filigree, absolutely stunning. Actually better lit even than the top floor. This is they have orbs, like glow orbs that are illuminating everything. It's very pristine. All around you it opens up. It even goes behind you from where the elevator stops. But you do notice the only difference, it goes almost as far as you could see, except straight in front of you there are a massive set of double doors. They look as if they had some sort of extremely ornate lock mechanism built into them. You can see light penetrating through the creases, the crevices of the door. It looks as if the lock is not in place, that they may freely swing open. They are engraved with a number of sigils and religious symbols. Again, very fine craftsmanship, and obviously took years and millions of thrones.
Are there any symbols that Kynnoch would recognize that either resemble or reflect chaos runes?
Give me a roll. I'll give you a plus 10.
Plus 10. So
Because you're
I am rolling. I'm rolling it. I have that as basic. So I'm rolling against a 26. And that's 52. So even 36 out of 52. That's 2 degrees of failure. So
yeah. It doesn't look, nothing looks familiar to you. On any particular demon, no.
Right.
So Venari asks Jarnan again, I know you didn't notice anything upstairs, but if we are closer to the source of the problem down here, there's many scriptures and written deeds of the house. Is there perhaps anything down here that seems out of place? And he kind of like puts a hand on his shoulder. Take 10.
Venari actually says, take 10.
Jarnan, you're on mute. Or you're on mute.
John, you're muted.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna look around, see if I notice anything, heretical, or if I, see if any of the symbols have been altered to become heretical. I got a 40 out of 50. Thanks, John.
Okay. Yes, you notice that there are minor modifications to the doors sigils that essentially change the meaning of the symbols from meaning the God Emperor sees all to we are the unseen.
I will relay that information.
I guess that certainly makes sense given the current circumstances.
Also makes me wonder what's on the other side of this door.
Well, I guess that's what we came here to find out. Perhaps when this is all over, we should contact the house here and let them know that their mausoleum has been perverted. Perhaps they can come back and, after we've taken care of the problem, give it a proper cleansing.
Agreed. I think that will be needed.
Of course, with your trusty flamer, you'll get a good cleansing now, I suppose.
I would agree with that. Maybe I'll actually be able to melt something while we're in here. And just kind of look over Kynnoch.
Well, I believe that we are both equally interested in exactly what is on the other side of these doors, so won't you? And I'll kind of gesture to Jarnan, like placing my hand on the door. Not opening it up quite yet, but
I'm going to try to open the door. Like, literally just try to push it open. Because I figure if they fucked with some of the door, maybe they fucked with all of it and it's unlocked.
Yeah, as you push, it starts swinging open. It creaks a bit. It's loud, but not like horror movie creak. It just creaks open. Inside, you see a large room, maybe, again, 100 by 100. At the very center, on a stone like altar, is an armless, legless demon, or so it seems to you, with a multitude of tubing and electrical devices hooked into it with some sort of machinery that then effuses into this pool around the demon of black viscous goo, similar to what you saw that the tech priest had. There is a small walkway, maybe 10 foot wide, to the demon that connects your room, where you stand, to it. in the center on a maybe 20 by 20 stone altar. There are runes carved entirely around and on the ceiling of this room, as well as the backs of the doors. You also see a smaller, hunched figure that is dipping some sort of probe into the liquid, as well as managing some pieces of equipment, with his back turned to you as he says,
Master, I have almost processed all of the fluids for Captain Haldane. I don't understand why you're checking on me. I thought you trusted my abilities.
Oh, I'm afraid you will not be hearing from your master anymore.
The person stands up and turns around. It looks like a frailer tech priest, definitely Mechanicus in nature by his robes and Mecantrite implants, lower level for sure. He looks quite surprised.
What has happened to Master Abernath?
Venari puts up a hand and he looks back at Kynnoch real fast and he says, easy. Perhaps a new deal can be reached.
I do not understand. I do not make deals. I answer to my master, Master Somnius Abernath.
Well, your master is no more. And it seems that we are the only other ones who know what's going on here. So again, I say, perhaps a new deal can be reached.
He looks stunned and confused.
I do not understand. You do not want the liquid for sale. I was instructed by Master Abernath to collect and purify the samples for sale by Captain Haldane.
Yes, and he kind of looks back again, this time at Jarnan, and he says, for now, I would like you to continue with what you are doing, and you will remain unmolested.
Also, everyone give me, unless you have some protection against demonic presences, give me I should have done it for the demon host, but not so much, but I'm going to do it for this one. Because it's a armless, it's like if they literally cut the limbs off a demon and have it chained and sequestered on this altar. So it's a willpower test. I'm going to say minus 20 in this case.
Would jaded suffice?
Nope. Jaded
It's
is
not-
for
it's a
mortal
terror.
stuff.
Well, is it a terror of the warp? It's very specific.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Terror of the
Minus
It
20.
is a demon terror.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Not not just because it's not like you saw a dude without arms and legs.
So Emmaus rolled a 0.6 out of 23, and when he kind of peeks around and looks and sees all the black liquid and stuff, he kind of goes, "Oh," and then just starts shaking his head. Since he got a 0.6.
I'm gonna fade point.
Okay.
22. Fuck. 22 out of 20.
Oh wow. Okay.
Kynnoch is a 27 out of 65.
Jesus
Your
Christ.
willpower is 85?
Oh no, so 26 out of 45 with the negative. Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus Christ, man.
Jarnan's good.
Yeah, I figured.
I have, yeah. He's immune.
Yeah.
So is
Yay.
it a roll? Because I would just say like Venari's saying that, but like he's backing up, right? He starts twitching a little bit.
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to get to that section because I don't know what the corruption is for that.
So when
go.
when Venari's backing up and kind of looking hesitant, Emmaus will just go, "No, it's cool, it's good." You know,
And he like
see?
bumps
Yeah.
into you, and then he like jumps. Like, oh fuck! Don't
Yeah.
get behind me like that.
Kynnoch will will
there's
walk down
fear
the
and corruption. So,
so Kynnoch will walk down kind of like the plank, the walkway, past the tech priest towards the demon, and he'll kind of get as close as he can to it, like almost putting out his hand to touch it. But he'll just lean down and he's like, "Well, aren't you a beauty?"
If you Augustus,
Yeah, so I would
black
say if you fail,
very upset.
if you fail the corruption test, this one you're gonna get a 1d10 corruption points.
Come
Oh,
on.
I want 1d10 corruption points.
So am I getting that for failing the test, or am I rolling something else now?
You're getting that for failing the test, so you roll a 1d10.
Yep.
And then you add that to your corruption points.
7.
All right.
Nice.
So you get 7 corruption. If you hit a 10, if you hit like actually if you hit to 30, that's nothing. It's only if you hit 60 do you take a mutation test. So
Takes me to
a while. Yeah, I was gonna do fear isn't so much it at this point because it's chained up. It's more corruption at this point that you're seeing something so profane that your soul is tainted quite a bit.
He's thinking back to some weird bondage shit that he was in before. And like he had
it's not
this chick all fucking chained up or whatever, tied up, and then it's like, oh fuck, no, that's fuck.
Won't
The
be
demon,
able to do that again.
as Kynnoch approaches and talks to it, is it seems to be somewhat in a trance or unresponsive, but it is definitely still whatever the definition of alive is. It doesn't respond to you, nor does the tech priest. After you kind of walk by it, it doesn't attack you or anything. You do feel some sort of protection against or protection for the bound demon, almost like it's protected by some sort of force.
So is there like a force actually holding it in place, or it's being kept alive somehow?
You're not sure. It's definitely being held in place by more than just chains.
Okay.
But it's also protected. So, for instance, you get the feeling you can't just like shoot it in the face.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like you can't just shoot it and kill it. Like there's some protective force that's also maintaining it in its corporeal form.
Right.
Not going to stop me from trying.
Up to you.
All right, so he walks forward. Venari's trying to cut a deal. He turns real fast to Jarnan and kind of like puts his arm on his shoulder and like turns him around. He says, "Look, I know this is unconventional. Got a couple of things going on here now. I don't think anyone else knows that this is here. Hear me out. It's fucked up, right? It's really fucked up. But two things, right? Obviously, there's a lot of thrones in this, and I don't even really care. We could like tithe a bunch of we're gonna look, but we could take the goo, right? We take the goo, and we can have Talon tracks make ammunition with the goo. So when there's demons all the time, Jarnan, and every time we go somewhere, there's a fucking demon. I don't understand. I don't know if they're drawn to me. I don't know if they're drawn to you, but it seems like all the time there's demons. If we could have weapons, if we could have ammunition made with the goo, just think of the power that would be wielded by the ecclesiarchy in the face of these demons. Like he's gesturing to the rooms, these demons. And the thrones too. Like, there's a lot of thrones.
also the money.
Your logic actually makes sense for once.
He cracks a smile because he didn't think it was going to work.
Having weapons to go against demons that are this effective could work in our favor. However, what exactly are you proposing we do?
He looks around conspiratorially, although it's just them. And he says, all right, so I'm going to be square.
Doubtful.
And he just drops his head. Come on, fuck. All right, before we do that, what was the name of the rogue trader again that the guy said?
Oh, Haldane, Zach's Haldane.
Haldane. I've heard of this rogue trader Haldane before. It seems that he is trading in this goo. It seems like we would be the primary providers. Now, I'm not sure what it is that he's doing, but we obviously would be able to change the nature of the negotiations, cut off who we may, sell to who we would. I'm sure that weapons are only one small thing. Perhaps we could cloak an entire ship. I don't know. Its possibilities are limitless.
Limitless and dangerous.
I concede the point, but it would appear that we control the only source.
The only source that we know about.
True. But how many could there be?
Thousands.
Perhaps.
But we, at this time, have control over this one. However, we don't know what is keeping that demon here.
Appears to be chained.
Because
And Kynnoch will
chains-
pip up, say, "Oh, this thing is much more than simply chained."
Well, that's good to know because chains aren't gonna work.
Well, I mean, we have a tech priest here. We could leave him to it. We can't do the repairs to the ship here. We can make some minor repairs to make us a little more space worthy. We do have some time. Perhaps we can get a signal out to Talon Tracks. I'm sure his people would be the best ones to perhaps manage things. Not necessarily here. I suppose we should keep this priest to his own devices, but perhaps we could set up some sort of a management system. I don't know. We have to get more information, obviously.
I am tentatively okay with this plan only because I can see the potential for good and for bad.
We can assure that there is some ecclesiarchal oversight, I suppose. I will have to work out all the details later. I don't rush to anything right now.
Exactly. We'll figure it out.
You surprised me, Jarnan.
That's kind of the point.
He just kind of nods like he understands, but he really doesn't. He turns back around. He says, "Priest."
Yes. What?
How many other people know of this site? Is your master the only one that comes and goes from here aside from yourself?
No, there are at least 2 others.
Yes. And how often do they come?
One, Captain Haldane is preparing for a delivery tomorrow. The other, a rogue trader known as Captain Ryback, is not scheduled for a delivery for another month.
Yes, this does complicate things then, I suppose. Who would have thought they would take the
Should I have these samples and trade goods ready for Captain Haldane tomorrow? If you are now speaking for my master,
He looks over to Jarnan.
Tabernacle.
He looks over to Jarnan, kind of like half shrug.
Jarnan kind of gives him a slight nod.
Yes, things will proceed apace. No reason to muck up the works.
And you did, by the way, know of Haldane from, he was the one that Egon was selling to.
Okay.
From
Yeah, I thought he was the rogue trader.
So, yeah. He's the rogue trader that Egon is providing to. Although I guess that makes more sense that if it would be Egon's ship, but let's say the rogue trader's the one doing the actual like back and forth. Sure.
Okay.
Mainly, I guess, because the tech priest had to deal with Egon to get psychers, so some kickback went to them. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As you wish, I will have the shipment prepared as usual.
Yes, excellent.
It goes about its work. It just, it goes back to, looks like it's checking samples and like looking at the machinery and tweaking things as it collects vials and puts them into crates. The demon, at the same time, yes, looks anguished and is like it's being constantly bled out, but doesn't die, as slow black goo is pumped from its veins.
And Kynnoch, how close can Kynnoch get to the demon?
Within 3 feet, but with it after that, you're not. Yeah, you can't really get. There's a field of a force field essentially, or some sort of telekinetic field.
Yeah.
Do we know
field
about
of-
this? I can't remember if we know about your predilections or.
I mean, I did go to town on the first demon, but it hasn't really happened since. And
Okay, that was just.
Yeah.
We're just
This is
assuming that's a
happening-
one.
oh, yeah, no, but not. Yeah, oh no, this is totally different. No, so he'll like reach out until like he touches the field and he'll kind of just like press up, and he'll just be like, "Don't worry, it will all work out."
He starts licking the force field.
Oh no, this is something totally different. He only has an addiction to dead flesh.
Okay, that was. I didn't know if you were going to try to carve off
Yeah.
a piece or.
Okay. So what would you like to do as a?
I don't know.
This whole session is throwing me for a loop.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't know what's. I mean, I had the what's actually happening planned, but what you did with it, no one could have guessed.
Do we want to cut it here? It's like 12:30 for you guys, right?
Yeah. Well, I was debating if you were. Okay. We'll do a real quick. We'll do a real quick scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not real quick. As you're staying, deciding what to do, there's a weird sort of fluctuation in the atmosphere as a crackling is heard. And then you hear somewhat familiar voice from Valentine.
Oh, you found the secret. You found the source. What would you do with it?
Oh, that is the question, is it not?
Always the question. What would you do with such power? Or would you destroy it?
It remains to be seen. Are you here?
About you. About you. What would you do with it?
Kynnoch still has his hand on the force field.
Something tells me something you don't want to tell the others. Well, I've shown you this far, but how far does the secret go? How far into the mechanics does the Ecclesia? Does the Administratum know? Who knows? And
None of that came through, Neil. You were too low.
how would you?
Actually, don't know what didn't come through.
How would you know what to do with these? Am I still dead? Am I still dead?
It's dropping. I think
You're coming in.
you're too low.
You're like coming in. And I think. Yeah, I think you're going too low, and you're cutting out at your gate.
I don't know where I cut out though, so and I don't remember what I said.
That's
We
problematic.
heard. Yeah, we heard how far to the Mechanicus, the Ecclesiarchy,
Okay, yeah,
and the
I'll read it.
Administratum. Yeah.
How far does it go into the Mechanicus? Into the Ecclesiarchy? Does the Administratum even know? And what would you do with this knowledge? So interesting. The unseen has such power, but the unnamed may have even more. Well, if you have to call upon me, you can find me at places of power like this. I'm curious to see how you react. And if you'd like to get rid of such a beautiful specimen.
As sort of like ethereal hand sort of caresses the demon.
Seems as if only those of ancient knowledge know how to do such things. But it is quite possible. Just have to ask the right questions.
And then you see sort of like a flickering light fade out.
He just looks at Jay like he doesn't know what to say.
And curious, sir.
He just looks at Jarnan.
He's like, that's not in the Bible. That's not in God's Bible. I don't know.
I don't know.
Seems as if we were brought here for some purpose yet to be discovered.
Yeah. But why give us this knowledge? What's the end game?
Perhaps to tear us asunder? Perhaps we have made a name for ourselves.
Perhaps to reveal the truth.
Perhaps we may actually learn in the future.
It is an interesting conundrum, to be sure.
That it is.
All right, making notes. I got it. Okay. Nailed it. Okay.
Cool.
That's a good question. I'm willing to call it there.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for checking this out. We have our coffee for sale. That actually, well, when this comes out, maybe not as relevant, but with coronavirus, weird things happening, people being sequestered, small businesses like Birds of a Feather could obviously use your help. So if you are interested, if you're a coffee aficionado, if you're anybody who likes coffee, but they're not like that snobby about it, check out birdscoffeecompany.com. You could use the code Legends10 to get 10% off your order. Shipping is always free. They have 3 great blends there. You could also use the address tinyurl.com/legendary brew. It's going to get you that legendary brew. It's an awesome medium roast. A little bit of the money comes back to the show. We also have a Patreon up and running. You could get early access to games there. We also have the post show going on. All the outtakes and all that other stuff is all being posted there now. It just currently started releasing. Again, this is not going to matter later, but releasing our mini campaign with Oscar Rios. It's our Cthulhu Invictus games. I think there's about 3 or 4 games up there that are being posted, as well as some of our older stuff. That's all going to go up there as well. So please check that out. Ratings and reviews on iTunes or whatever your podcatcher of choice is super helpful. We appreciate that as well. Just bumps us up in the algorithms and lets us get seen by more people. And if you're stuck at home, share this with your friends. Just try to get some more ears on the podcast. We absolutely appreciate it. So thanks for checking this out, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
And post show.
Here, let me get this
like a
guitar.
pre-post show earlier, and we had a
What?
like
Pre-post show? We had a pre-post show?
yeah.
Pre-pro? Pre-po-po show?
That was a weird fucking session.
That was so cool.
I don't know what happened. I thought you guys were retreating last time, and then this time you're like, no, I wasn't going to just stick around. And I was like, wait, okay. What? All right, what do I do?
Well,
Then I thought I might kill you all. Then I thought that didn't work at all.
Well, so so that episode just aired in a regular feed as we record this on the same day. So it's fresh in my mind. And we had left with Kynnoch still sitting on the fucking servitor, shooting him in the face, having sort of finished him off. So we were totally in there waiting. I thought we had a deal worked out. We were going to get something. Although I guess it would have made more sense to deal through Egon than maybe this guy. But
yes, but you cut out the source, right? Maybe you could be like, fuck that guy. Let's fucking get rid of that guy.
Not the middleman.
Real
quick, Neil. Might I not leaning towards it, up to you, but I did eat some demon tainted flesh.
Sure.
That's according to my notes. That's supposed to have a roll associated with it.
Yeah, that's probably gonna give you a corruption.
I'm supposed to. Yeah. I just don't know how much.
Shit, I don't remember where that is. Yeah, to look that one up. What's the? Do you know the name of that specific problem?
I think it's just addiction. Strange addiction.
Strange addiction.
That's a TV show, isn't it?
Jane's addiction.
296. That's a whole other. What's page 296? Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Mental trauma. Flesh is weak.
Yeah,
because it specifically says strange addiction. Characters addicted to some bizarre and unnatural substance, such as eating rose petals, drinking blood, tasting widow's tears. It's actually like a minor compulsion, but it's freaking enough to cause serious suspicion if found out. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a willpower test. If it's demon flesh, you're gonna have to do a willpower test, and then what happens depends on if you fail that test or not. So willpower test straight up.
100.
That's a 70 out of 65. My first bad roll of the night.
Yeah, so then that's gonna give you a D10 corruption.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
mean,
you wanted.
boo.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, only 3.
All right, you get 3 points then. 3 points of corruption. But damn, those Boyntons taste good.
I'm up to 37.
Wow. So you started with the mutation, right? Okay. Because it would be at 60. You would take another one. Right now, you're just tainted.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you hit. Wait a minute. At 31 to 60, you're soiled. That's a -10 to malignancy. So that would actually be a -10 on your rolls. So
there you go.
For future knowledge, you would take a -10 to that. I love that there's also it goes tainted, soiled, debased, profane, and then damned. Damned, you just
damned
are an NPC essentially for me to fuck with.
See, my other thought is we can use the special bullets on Kynnoch.
You might need to eventually because
I thought Jarnan was gay. If that went any other way, I thought Jarnan might.
Yeah, this is good, but that was man. I don't know what happened there. Didn't see it coming.
Yep. Also, as a side note, though related, I just listened to a special on Pompeii a little bit ago, and they found shards of crystals in some of the people's brains, and it turns out that they were flash heated so quickly that the brains actually crystallized.
Whoa. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Just like our tech
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, those they got flash fucked right out of the gate. That power, what the fuck? That's why sometimes this game is like you either die or destroy everything immediately. And I'm like, that's kind of this game.
I have
that roll.
What was that?
I said I'm glad I passed that roll. I had to burn a fate point.
Oh yeah, you would have burned a fate point for that. You would have been incinerated.
Yeah.
Yep.
From now on,
that's
no
fun.
longer-
You would have burnt the fate point to survive, but you would have still. People would now call you like the burnt captain or something.
You're like that guy from the end of Beetlejuice, or the Beetlejuice, where he's in the lobby of the waiting room, at the end of the, smoking the cigarette. You're that guy forever. Be pretty great. Yeah, that one. I was not aware you had that power capability.
I've used it I've used it a few times. Just
Red
never to
Tide?
that
That
Yeah.
degree was like lucky. Like you.
Yeah, I've never
just
used it to
basically-
that extent. I've done like 20 something damage
Fuck.
before, but like
That was like, I don't know what's happening. This is insanity. This is great. I dig it. I'm not gonna say no. That's like, you fucking melted their faces. Great job. Faces, consider them melted.
yeah, but I totally
But yeah,
thought
now
Jarnan
I'm
was
like,
going to
I don't
take the
know
lead
what
on
you
that.
do now that you've like collapsed. Like, the question is, you've basically collapsed an entire like underground demon host trade / anti-psyker trade, because you killed the ringleader in one giant blast. So then
I
it's
mean,
like,
did they take
what
it?
do you
Yeah, I
do?
mean, did it collapse or did is Venari just going to like prop it back up?
Well, that's the question. But now everyone's like, who the fuck's paying us and what the fuck's happening, right? So like, you got to figure out what's happening. But yeah, you just obliterated the dude. Do it. Well, how are you gonna get demon hosts? You don't even have a psyker.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we have no
Right.
idea how to do it. That.
That one you can't do because the Navigator can't do it. That requires demon hosts do require a true psyker. That's one of the paths mine could have taken, and I thought about it just to fuck with people because I thought it'd be funny.
Who knows? Maybe Kynnoch will look into how to unleash. Maybe this the anger that this guy feels, that this guy prodded within Kynnoch,
and then
will
you
cause
like
him to research how to unlock the rest of his potential.
And then he just like lines up psychers, asks them if they want a demon, and he's like, "Yeah, you go out and fuck shit up, right? Like you're not bound anymore. You just go like do whatever." So Kynnoch's got like a fucking bound demon army, just like running roughshod all over the Imperium.
Yeah, it would fuck shit up. Like, I mean, granted, yes, you can't. You control them, or until you can't. So like,
I don't want to.
Tough. It's real tough. If you don't want to, God, it's real tough. Like, then it's even worse. 'Cause the demon can break through and just be a demon. That's the problem. That's the challenge. Because, that was my whole, like...
For whoever's dealing with it.
Like, my whole thing was, like, trying to be a psyker. And the other game was, like, a psyker who was trying to bind a demon weapon, which is even less risk than a demon host. Because that's not even a body. It's just a... Like, I want to trap a demon in a sword, and even that's like insane and impossible. So like, and it can break free of that. So, imagine being like, oh, I'm going to give you a whole body to like potentially break free of and do whatever you want. And it's like, oh, that's not a good idea. Nobody should be doing this. But they do it anyway.
Not saying that it's something that that I've looked into or that's even possible, but I mean, on the very slim chance, is there any pathway to Kynnoch becoming like a sorcerer or some type of renegade psyker?
It's not canon that you would be able to do that, but I would potentially be amenable to it because it's cooler than canon of just saying no, you can't, because who cares? That's boring. And so be like, well, psychers are locked and they can't do anything after they're locked down. It's like, well, that's not as cool. Like, what if you just fucking do something badass? Okay, well,
what if I
badass.
make a deal with a demon?
Yeah, so then like I think if we worked out some sort of, I don't know, there's got to be some sort of trade-off or experience buy or whatever to get you as an unbound psyker. Of course, you would lose your navigator powers because you wouldn't be able to navigate anymore because that's
You can't do it now.
I don't think
that's true. He's not lose much. That's harsh. That's mean. You're like, fuck. He sucks as it is. Fuck him.
To Venari's point, Venari doesn't see the whole picture. You don't see the whole process. All you see is like
crashing,
getting into the warp and then crashing coming out of it.
Like
that's
getting
all
in
you
the warp
see.
and being like, sir, it's going to be no more than a month. And it's like 7 months later, you come out of the warp. What the fuck? And then there's like a demon on the...
Fuck.
Yeah, there's a demon on the bridge. Everyone has haunting nightmares.
Yeah.
It's not good for anybody.
I almost crashed
really
us into a moon.
He's pretty much
I think at one
only
point, I think the
killing
last
stuff
time
with his mind, so.
I think the last time we came out of warp, I almost put us in the sun.
I don't know if that was the last. I thought you almost did. That last time you crashed into a space station. I think
that was a couple of times.
No, when we got here to Necropolis, he fucking brought us out right next to the sun.
Oh yeah,
so
he's not good. He's not good at navigating, but he's really great at killing stuff. So like, maybe
the trade-off.
Maybe he can unbind his mental state and actually become well, you could be bound or unbound. I guess I would let you choose that because it's really how much you push yourself or can push yourself. So that's a whole other thing. But I'd probably allow it as an interesting like what would happen if you broke the navigator bindings and become a psyker. Like then I would let you basically buy into the psyker path from Dark Heresy, maybe. But yeah, you get some crazy shit. Like it's crazy. And then once you do it, it's like, like I could do so many things that are just insanity at all times. It's pretty great, but it has dangers mostly associated with the people around you being mad at you for doing it.
If these guys aren't pissed off already.
Yeah, like there was like, don't upend gravity, don't tear holes in time and space. And I'm like, but I could do like 5 more damage if I did. It'd be fun if I did it. And they're like, we're good. And I'm like, we're not good. Let's bend that hole.
Kick it up.
I'm gonna rip that hole. Yeah, I didn't actually do anything super crazy, but I did eventually bind a ludicrous demon into a sword, and using it caused so much corruption that I only used it once in the campaign because it was so insane that like you could pretty much kill anything with it, but like it caused me so much. It caused me damage and corruption to the point that like if you used it more than once or twice, I would have either gone insane or died. So I didn't do it that much, but it was pretty cool to have.
Well, so now this changes the whole end for the campaign, right? Because we always figured it would be Jarnan trying to kill Venari, but now like he has to kill Kynnoch first. Or maybe he kills Venari, then Kynnoch. It's going to be a whole weird thing now.
Or maybe Venari and Jarnan join forces to take down Kynnoch.
It's like a Highlander thing, right? So like we both have to kill you, and then we have to kill each other.
Yeah. There can only be one. Yeah, there's only one. Guys, there can only be one. Make it happen.
Oh,
unless
we'll see what happens. It'll be fun.
Unless it's Highlander 2, then there's a whole planet of them.
Oh,
I just don't. Yeah, I don't. What? Seriously, like, what happened when that? Like, did anybody think
it's never
like
been mentioned again?
Does anyone know? Like, when I was like, wait, there can only be one, but then there's a whole planet of them. What does that mean? There can only be one on Earth, but then they seemed like on that other planet, there can only be one. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense,
I don't
guys.
think anybody does. But speaking of only be one, it's 1 o'clock here, and I gotta get up for work in a couple hours. So I am gonna say good night.
All right.
To all of you.
Night,
All
buddy.
right. Thank you, sir.
Night, dude.
I'll let you burn stuff
Take it
next
easy.
time.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was fun. It was interesting for sure.
Yes.
It's a good one. That was weird. I did not literally plan any of that. That's why I don't plan things. Because if I
don't
did
fucking
plan
plan.
things,
Then you'd be mad.
fuck, you would have fucked it in the first 5 minutes. So I just roll with it. That was a fun one.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah,
here's
It
that
was
the
pretty
thing.
epic.
I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do next time because I
don't
don't
know
like
what
as a
to do.
player. Like I don't know what the fuck happens now.
You got to find out how to deal with it. Like, are you running
rogue-
this thing? Are you going to let it collapse? Are you going to, like, there's a lot of shit you could do. The question is, what do you do with it and who's getting the profits? It's a whole thing.
Well, I mean, I'm figuring we don't
crack
like,
it wide open.
Yeah, we can't deal with the binding demon part
Mm-mm.
side of things. So like that side of the business is gone. Right?
Unless we can set something up, but like you wouldn't be happy with it. Like Kynnoch wouldn't be happy with that.
Like I said, he'd be fine with it if the tethers weren't put in place.
But they would have to be. Like it doesn't work without them.
Yeah, if you
Like,
don't
it
put
literally
it
doesn't work.
It doesn't work the way you want it to without them.
No, it's just a demon. Like if
It
you
just
don't
works.
put the bounds, they basically are just demons in people's body. They're not people
which-
still. There's no
Which
way. the person
Kynnoch
can
is
do it.
totally fine with.
Wait, what? But then the person's gone.
It's like if they're willing to take it.
No, but the person's not like your psyker friend
not
is
willing.
gone then. Like
Yeah,
you're
they're
not
dead.
helping them.
Like the demon has
Well,
crushed them.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause,
so I guess
well,
if you
so-
want your soul eaten, you're okay with it.
Exactly. if you are willing to take it, it's a voluntary. It's so he if it
But
was
it's
on a
not
voluntary
you anymore.
basis-
It's a demon, and you can't control it.
Oh, yeah.
Like no one controls.
Yeah.
At that point, at an unbound demon host is just like, I'm a demon.
Well, so, yeah. So Kynoch's
Just
view.
do whatever they want.
Yeah. Kynoch's view of it between like the materium in the warp is that they're all the same thing. So in order
Oh,
to
you're not seeing.
so to join the two to break the veil and to join the suicides together is like the
Oh,
perfect
wow.
existence of things.
That's not good for the rest of you guys. It's bad because it doesn't go well when you start doing that. I mean, I'm all about it.
Yeah. So like for someone to voluntarily accept that and accept that fate and allow themselves to become one with the warp,
Oh
that's
my
perfectly
God.
fine.
That's okay. I mean, hey, if the other guys are okay with it, I'm okay role playing that because you can make as many unbound demon hosts that immediately try to murder everything they see. Because that's what they do essentially, is they just immediately are like, oh, holy shit, I'm out of the warp. Murder, 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 rape, rape, murder, 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 rape, murder. That's all they do. They don't care. It's all they. Well, it depends on which they are. Teench, I guess, could be a little more weird about it, but like, and then yeah, what's his name? Cord.
Yeah,
Why am I?
Nurgle.
Yeah, Cord is just gonna like kill as much things as possible. Nurgle's just gonna like infect everything and make like diseases, and then Slanesh is just gonna fuck everyone it can to death.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
much
Venari
it.
might be in for that.
Yeah, let's say he's like, if I'm gonna go out that way, baby. How did you go? Fuck to death. Nailed it. I won life.
Snoo.
Yep. Snoo stew, baby. Yeah. So yeah, Slanesh is basically snoo. Teench is like knowledge and weird magic shit, but you know, You're still doing evil shit. Yeah,
Mhm.
court is just murder. That's just berserker rage.
Yep.
That's just bath salts. I ate 16 people's faces. I win. My God loves me.
It wasn't a game. Nobody's keeping score.
They're like, I was. 16 faces, that's most faces of all time. I think the most so far is 2. I don't know. There might
Right.
3 might be. I don't know. I think 2 might be the most faces eaten by a bath salt zombie. I think.
I didn't know it was
Not
more
positive.
than one.
Oh,
What
it's
sta-
definitely more than 1.
And what
Oh, yeah.
state?
100%.
What state was that
Florida.
in?
Oh,
Oh, it was
only
Florida.
Oh,
It was Florida, yeah.
all zombie attacks have been in Florida.
I know.
There was one in Miami. The first one was in Miami, and that was a person eating a homeless person's face. That's the first one. And then the next one was a man ran up and killed 2 people, a couple sitting in their garage, just because in Florida, you open your garage door and you sit inside the garage and you just watch the street. That's a thing. Except,
Well, it's cool in the shade.
yeah, you do that until a teenager or college age student, I don't remember which, ran up on bath salts and murders both of them and eats their faces. Yes, for some reason, ate both of their faces. I don't know why. Why are they eating faces? I don't get it. But
There's
apparently,
not even any
faces
meat there.
freak them out, and they like
Right.
to eat them. They killed both of them and ate their faces. And then here was the one that was the most zombie-like attack of all time. No joke. A dude on bath salts ran, and this wasn't like people were outside. He jumped through the picture window of the living room. I'm not kidding.
Fuck.
You can look it up. If you look up bath salts zombie attacks, Florida. He jumped through the window while a guy and his mom watched television. A guy jumps through the window and starts trying to kill the mom and attack her. The guy tackles him and keeps him subdued until he almost can't subdue him anymore and the police show up. Both of them survive. But
Wow.
hobo on the interstate, face eaten, he died. The other 2 people, face eaten, they died. But so far, only 2 faces eaten out of any Florida bath salts, and they're all on bath salts, all 3 of those, and it's insane. So in Florida, also funny story, one of my friend's wives is they moved to the state, and she's an addiction treatment specialist, psychologist person. She had to get a specific certification for Florida to treat. Gets better to get to treat flakka addiction, FLAKKA. That's so crocodile. If you've heard of crocodile, is
Yeah, I
so
was gonna say, isn't
popular.
that-
It's so popular in Florida. It has its own name here. It's called flakka.
Oh, I
Crocodile
remember
is
What the
flakka in
hell is-
Florida, and you have to have it's dirty heroin that causes
Oh,
your
right.
veins to rot.
Like gasoline or
caused-
something
Oh.
in it, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. They mix a bunch of adulterants that literally kill your capillaries, so you're rotting like a zombie for real. So unlike bath salts where you eat people like a zombie, crocodile just rots your limbs like a zombie. And you had to have a specific how to treat flakka addiction certification for Florida. And I'm like, and I made a joke about it. We were having dinner at a barbecue, and I was like, oh yeah, do you treat people with flakka addiction? And she was like, I had to get a certificate for that. And I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, jeez.
You had to get a dirty heroin certificate. I'm so addicted to heroin that my arms, if you Google Flacca like rot or like
Oh,
Flacca
thank you.
whatever. I'm not kidding. They showed. I saw someone's arm that you could see they were alive. It was rotten down to the bone. You could see muscle striation and like the bone, clean bone. And they're walking around like, hey man, can I get some of that Flacca? And I'm like, this is not good. Your arm's rotting off. Off. Your arm's off. No, it isn't. And I'm like, yeah. So Flacca, gotta have a certificate for that. Florida, most zombie attacks of all time. Beep, beep, beep. I live here. That's why my house is a fucking bunker, man.
Right?
Fucking zombies could jump through your
Literally.
And I felt kind of bad because that was like, I kind of felt bad because that guy, the guy that jumped through the window, I'm pretty sure was the one that was like, it might have been the one that killed the couple. I don't know, in the garage. One of them was like a 20-year-old who had never tried drugs before. And someone was like, take these drugs. And he was like, I don't know. And they like were like, hey, just it's cool, man. We've done it. And he took it, and I swear to Christ, I don't know why whatever this bath salts concoction is, because it's not like one thing. It's just a bunch of shit that people mix together, and they're like, this is it. It's called bath salts, whatever. We don't care. We mix a bunch of shit. And it was the first time, and he went crazy and ate people's faces. Tried that. And I'm like, this guy's never taken drugs, and he just ate a person's face. Like,
don't do drugs, kids.
Don't.
And now he's got a taste for it. He's like a fucking like a wild animal that's eating.
I know. Now he's in prison, and they're like, "Don't go to that." He's like, where he has like skin on. He has like bacon on his face every day. Fucking Hannibal Lectering it. I don't know, man. It's fucked up. Like bath salts, fucked up, baby. Don't do public service announcement. Don't do bath salts. Literally, do any. I'm okay. Do any drug, but bath salts and crocodile. Crocodile, rot your arms off. Or take bath salts and crocodile. Be an actual zombie.
An actual zombie.
Eat a face. Be rotting while you do it.
I mean, on the upside, I guess you don't feel it, right? So I mean,
no, you don't.
Right?
Yeah, you don't fucking care at all. Like the guy. The first guy that ate the hobo's face, sorry, that's homeless person. I feel like that's offensive. The guy that literally was eating the dude's face on the interstate, the first bath salt zombie.
Yeah.
The police shot him, I believe, 7 times before he stopped. It was a lot. It was more than, it was at minimum 6. And they shot him
before you even noticed he was being shot.
Exactly. It's like PCP. Like, they don't have any fucking idea what's happening to them. Like back in the 80s, PCP, you could shoot those fuckers like 8 times, and it's like they don't feel it at all. Like it's just like you don't feel anything, and so your body can just keep fucking going. Don't do it, guys. Don't do drugs, and if you do drugs, just do like weed or alcohol or. Is there another one that's okay?
That's probably
Shrooms.
Shrooms might be okay.
Shrooms.
But like weed and alcohol, I feel like totally fine. Like you're not. I know a lot of people that smoke pot. Not one of them's eating anyone's face.
Eating a lot of chips.
They eat a lot
of pizza.
I've seen people eat.
They keep Taco Bell in business.
Yep. I mean, fourth meal wouldn't exist without marijuana. I mean, that's just a fact. So yeah, weed, maybe you'll gain some pounds. Alcohol, you'll probably also gain some pounds. And maybe shrooms, maybe that's okay. It's natural, like at least, Other than that, maybe like dial it down. Definitely don't take something just imported from China labeled as bath salts.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't do it, guys.
Don't take anything that also has the potential to have antifreeze in it. Just like
definitely don't do that because like it's real bad for you. If you're gonna do heroin, make sure you get it from a reputable dealer. How do you do that?
Maybe just
Don't they
don't
have
do that
kids?
either.
They have kits, right? Yeah, definitely don't do hair. I'll say, yeah, don't do any IV drugs. They're probably bad for you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Let's just stick to orally administered drugs. Wink. You know what I'm saying? Orally administered, guys and girls. Do those drugs. Don't do drugs. Get high on life and boning. You know what's better than both? Roller coasters. Sorry. That was I did have that thought one time when I rode Millennium Force at Cedar Point. I thought it's a 3.5 minute roller coaster. You go 300 feet at an 80-degree
Jeez.
You go 98 miles an hour. And I legit thought that 3.5 minutes is better than any sex. Like, it was the best 3.5 minutes of my life. It was just like, this is exhilarating.
I mean,
It's a great roller coaster.
To be fair, it's also a lot longer than you have sex for. So
Nailed it. That's right. I mean, I could do 3.5 minutes on Millennium Force or 1.5 minutes in the bedroom, guys. I'd say which one's better. Even if you go longer, fuck it. Millennium Force, that's 3.5 minutes, and you're done. And everyone feels great.
People getting off the ride just smoking.
I swear to Christ, the first year. So now it's a little dialed down. The first year, I went on it the first year it opened, and it was the highest coaster in the world. I shit you not. There was not one car, like one full car, that when they pulled in wasn't screaming like they fucking saw the Jonas Brothers or whatever. Like, they were and I literally was like, is this that good? And then I wrote it and was like, I don't understand. We got off and I was screaming. And I was like, I don't even scream for like fucking roller coaster. I was like, this is the greatest fucking roller coaster of all time. And now the problem is, right, it's like, fuck. It's like over 12, 15 years old now. Man, it's a steel coaster. It went from like greased lightning to like talcum powdered fucking granite. It's just like it feels like you're gonna die. It was smooth. The first year it was like I'm gliding on air in the most amazing engineered thing, and now you're like, I'm gonna die. I'm getting a concussion. It's still fun. But yeah, that was the best coaster I've ever ridden. I've ridden a lot of coasters. That one still is the best overall experience. There's ones that are crazier, but yeah, that one, I was like, I'm sorry. If you can beat that in the bedroom, you must be a professional. Because that shit was crazy. Someone's going to put that on the internet and get mad at me. I don't like the drop ride. I don't do drop rides, but I hate the drop rides, but I love roller coasters.
Same. No, I did I can't remember what it used to be called, but it was the Six Flags now.
Oh, yep.
And they had the old...
Was it?
Great Adventure. Well, by me, it was Great Adventure. Six Flags, it was the same thing.
Action Park.
No, I can't remember which one. I can't remember which one it is now. I'll have to check it out. But anyway, there was they tore it down now. I rode it the last month it was open. Old wooden roller coaster called the Cyclone.
Oh shit! Where was that? I've heard of it. I've never ridden it, but I've heard of that.
Oh,
sure.
it was beautiful. You look up, so the line goes underneath the ride. And so as you're going, the first turn that it goes around, you can see the entire coaster when it makes the turn, kind of leans a little bit over and then leans a little bit back. You can hear the creaking of the wood. Oh, it was... Oh.
And it's not there anymore? Fuck.
No, they tore it down, yeah.
Oof. That was Cedar Point has the Beast. That's the one that's the big wooden coaster, and it hurts. It's
Fuck that.
rickety as fuck. Yeah, I like there's one in Pittsburgh at Kennywood that might have been renamed. It used to be the Phantom, where it drops you below the ground level of the normal. So the park is on like, I don't know if it's on a lake or on like, there's definitely a deep, there's like a hill.
Yeah.
And the coaster takes you past that hill and down like another 30 or 40 feet past the ground that you're standing on when you get on the coaster, and then fucking rails back. That was a fucking great coaster, man. That was a great coaster. I love it. Yeah, we went to Cedar Point one time in March, and there was no line for any coaster. We walked on to the front. Like, this is the only time it's ever happened. At 6 p.m., we had ridden every coaster we wanted to ride 3 times and I'm not kidding. We were like, I'm kind of done. Like, we were like, I don't want to ride anymore, because the last time we rode Millennium Force, which was, it's a 320-foot coaster with a 300-foot drop, we were like, I was kind of bored. So we went to like Chili's and then just fucking drank and hung out, because we were like, we went on Magnum XL was like the biggest for a while. It was before Millennium Force. We went on it, and then I'm not kidding, got off it, went right back on, and got on the front, the first 2 seats, both times in a row. No one was there, and we were like, I'm just bored of this now.
Now you know what drugs are like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Tired.
I'm going to get going, guys. I will see you. Yeah, if we do next week, I'm good for next week. So
I'm okay for next
Sounds
week.
good.
So maybe we can confirm that via
Okay.
texting.
coordinate. Have a good one.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah, buddy.
Good night, everybody.
No,
All right.
the other cool roller
That's
coaster.
probably
One more.
it.
One more.
Yep, go.
The
Go,
one
go,
that
go.
I think you'll love. It was the most simplest roller coaster. It was just basically like a U shape.
Okay.
And it's a harness where you're just strapped in. You're sitting on a little tiny seat. All it does is first pulls you backwards, and then up a couple hundred feet. So you're literally, it locks you in place all the way at the top. So you're just looking down 200 feet. And then it lets you go. You go whoop, and then it cranks you up. So now you're looking straight up at the sky.
What?
And then it lets you go again, and you just go back and forth.
I don't know if I like that. That might freak me. I don't know why I don't like that. That sounds scary to me.
That was
Like
fucked up. There was a dude in the row right in front. So me and my cousin were in the second row. The dude in front of us was freaking his shit the entire time. It was awesome.
I mean, have you seen the Busch Gardens? The Busch Gardens drop. I don't remember what it's called. It's not Tower of Terrors, whatever. But it's like, it takes you up over 400 feet. But here's the thing. So it's like a drop ride, right? But it takes you up, I think, 450 feet or something. But here's the kicker. Before it drops you, it rotates you so you're facing the ground.
Fuck that.
Then it drops you. And as you're going down at the very bottom, you swing back out. I will not.
Yeah,
ride
that's
it.
basically how this was. Yeah.
I won't ride
Yeah,
it. My wife ride. I don't like the straight drop rides. And she was like, it's so fun. And I was like, I will die. But like, apparently she also got stuck in Virginia, the Busch Gardens. No. The other one, Paramount, King's Dominion. She got stuck on the drop ride. We went as like a group of grad students, and we were looking up and we're like, wow, they're really letting them hang for a long time. And I'm not kidding. I was like, are they gonna drop them? Is this normal? And then people start freaking out. And like, we literally, once we figured out they were stuck, went and like got something to drink at the concession stand behind the place. And then we're still watching. And they like eventually figured it out without having the fire people come and like had to just, they didn't drop it. They had to like slowly lower it.
Oh, jeez.
And apparently she said like, there was like, it's 16 people, so 4 on each side or something. And she said there's like a 12-year-old girl beside her. It was like fine to start, but then there was a guy. It was like a friend of ours, her, this 12-year-old, nobody, and then like other side, like a dude, like 30-something-year-old dude, who was like, "We're all gonna die," screaming that they were all gonna die, and then the girl starts crying uncontrollably, like, "We're gonna die," and she's like, "No, it's okay, don't worry, they have a bunch of safety things," and the guy's like, "We're gonna." And then I was like, this is why I won't ride these with you. Right. Like, if I were up there, I would be like, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man.
There was one coaster when we went that we didn't get to ride because it kept breaking down. Like every time we got in, it broke down four times when we were there. Yeah. The last time and this was in like the first 2 hours too. By noon, they had shut the ride off because the last ride that broke down, it broke at the loop, and it stalled and locked upside down.
No, fuck that. That would fucking terrify me.
Yep. Like,
I mean, the scariest one I've been on is the one. Yeah, Cedar Point has a Top Thrill Dragster. It goes 420 feet.
Oh yes,
and it shoots you 125 miles an hour out from the start. And sometimes people don't make it, and I was like, that's scarier to me. But then my friend was like, but then you get like 2 rides. And I was like, I mean, yes, but like so they load 2 cars. They load one and then the other before they send them. So we were in the second car, and like you go up and it's like drag race style. It's like the lights, it's like red, yellow, yellow, green. Yep. So it goes. So I'm watching. It's like boop, 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 explode just out of the gate. This thing fucking goes like a billion miles, and I was like, I've made a terrible mistake. Like, I'm in the second car. I didn't realize what I signed up for. And then we slowly creep up as it goes up, and it just goes up and then comes down and twists. But I was like,
yeah,
I kind of want to get off right now. And then can't. And I was like,
right.
Well, I guess. And here's the terrifying thing. It's a pretty decent length of track before you get to the up curve.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, like 100 yards, 70 yards.
That you do in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Fucking the whole ride's like 30 seconds. It's fucking crazy. You can see the curve you go up sway in the wind because it's metal. It's not it has to have some give to it, right?
Right.
But I was watching like this. I'm like, there's our track, and it's like, and I was like, we're gonna die. This is gonna break. We're gonna die. And then it goes boo boo boo, and I was like, just fucking explode. And then it was me and my friend, and his girlfriend didn't ride it. She was like, I'm not into it. I'm okay. And she's like, you guys are the only one I watched that hit 126. 126. Geez. They have like a speedometer, and then like I will admit, at the top of that, you get a second and a half that I looked around and was like,
weightlessness,
because like Cedar Point's like on a peninsula, so it's just all lake.
Oh, really?
And then like park, and I was like, whoa, oh shit. And then it's 90 degrees straight down with a twist, and I was like, what are we doing with ourselves? But yeah, that's a great coaster, but fuck, it's terrifying. Get in that first car, guys.
Not for
Otherwise,
me.
you're gonna pee your pants.
I've only ever been on like 3 roller coasters, and none of them were that big.
Really? Oh, God, I've ridden so many. I love them. I love coasters, but I hate drop rides, and I don't know why. But
They're like Runaway Train and like a Great Adventure, Six Flags, whatever you call it. They had the Sarajevo bobsled, so it had no track. They put you in essentially.
oh, yeah.
So they're like, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm like, I put me, in the back, and when I'm getting shoved towards the front, we get in. Fuck, it was over. I'm like, fuck, there's no tracks, and
It's just like a tube, right? Yeah, and you're just those things freak me out, man.
That's crazy.
I did not have fun.
I feel like those are gonna just fly off. I don't know why, but I'm like, these are gonna fly off. This is just gonna fly out of this tube.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I'm scared of heights anyway, so I just don't do roller coasters.
Yeah. I'm terrified of heights, but I love coasters for some reason. It's the forward momentum that I like. Although there is one at Busch Gardens here that like it's their highest one until the most recent that like it turns and then it goes up and then locks you before it falls.
Nice.
And I will say I didn't think I would like it, but it's a pretty good coaster. And they have and King's Dominion in if you're ever in Virginia at King's Dominion, there's one called the Volcano there that's a launch coaster that shoots you from the start straight up and out the top of the volcano and then around and then shoot you a couple other times. But it's a hanging coaster, and I rode the first car of that. I rode the first car, and I am not big on heights. You do not see the track most of the time because you're swung like out, and it's just fucking open land. And I was like, I am not okay with this.
I have actually never done a hanging coaster. The only one around here is the only one around here is Superman. And the line when we went, the line was like an hour and a half.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I can ride Superman once, or I can ride like 4 other rides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, there's some of my favorites though. The Raptor is Cedar Point's. Not the Mantis. The Mantis is not the hanging one at. I think it's the Chakra. Might be the one at Busch Gardens here. Yeah. So the hanging ones. So much G-force. It's acrobat. Like you're fucking doing G's. Like Raptor does a 3-loop downward centrifuge.
Nice.
And it fucks you up. It's great. I think I like the hang. Mantis, I think, might be the one at Cedar Point. I don't know, but there's one that's a standing coaster where you stand and the seat comes up the lock. The standing coasters are so much fun to me. I don't know why, but it fucking feels terrifying because you're standing and then you just like fall.
Yeah,
those are so and like the one there is so good. The one at Cedar Point or at Busch Gardens is pretty good. One at King's Dominion is pretty good. Yeah, I've gone to like I love roller coasters, so I'll ride those all day long.
Nice.
And if you have funny monkeys, that's great too. Because Busch Gardens has like monkeys, and the Busch Gardens in Virginia has one of the better haunted house October things as well. So if you're ever in the Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, I actually think it's one of the better haunted house attractions. Compared to the one here, is not as great. I've never been to Orlando's like Universal, so. All right, I'm probably gonna get yelled at.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I'll just.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna do them all offline. But I was reading mutations, and I have to make a bunch of rolls. So I'll let you know how that comes out.
Okay, cool.
I didn't realize I was there when a navigator learns a new power, and or increases its mastery of a power. So I have to make a bunch of new rolls. So we'll see how that comes out.
I did not know that.
Nice.
All right. Well, a more horrific and demented Kynnoch.
Exactly.
It's a good thing we're gonna have fucking demon bullets.
Right. All right.
All right. See you later, guys. Thanks for playing.
Have a good
Thanks for
night.
running. Yep.
If you're a Patreon subscriber, thanks for listening to our bullshit. Take these
Yeah.
coaster recommendations and buy Birds of a Feather Coffee Company coffee. They're all delicious. Legends blend, tiny URL.
.com /
Words.
legendary brew.
Legendary brew. I don't remember what it is. Buy it. Legends 10% off any of the coffees. If you don't want Legends brew, that's okay by me, but John might get mad at you. I'll be okay. Either way, buy some coffee.
He'll
some coffee.
He'll get your address, some Neil, and then come to your house.
Serious though, it's good coffee, guys. It's real good coffee. I wouldn't drink anything else because I don't.
Me neither.
That's not true. I actually, my wife does buy coffee sometimes. It's not mine, and I punch her. I'm not a domestic abuser. Don't beat your wife over coffee, especially, or anything, especially not over anything. But other coffees are good too. But mine's like pretty good.
For something that you can drink every day, it's really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Indeed.
It's so good. Fuck. The newest, I got some new single origins too. Man, when those come out, it's gonna be spectacular. But the Legends Brew is a nice everyday drinker. Everyone can drink it. It's medium. It's rich, balanced.
When you grind fresh beans, oh man, the smell is just so good.
I hate I hate to admit it, but literally when we're at markets and like we're brewing coffee, someone will like, I'm usually not the one brewing. I'm usually like on the like register or whatever. Someone will like do the grinder and I'll literally be like, oh man, that smells real good. And I'm like, oh wait, that's mine. I feel like a dickhead, but I literally am like, that's the best coffee I've ever smelled. Like just the grinding it a lot. You could literally like, if you're a salesperson, just grind that. Just buy my coffee, grind a little bit as you're wanting to sell something, and people will buy it because it's just like, oh man, I love that smell. It's like when you bake cookies when you're trying to sell a house. Just grind that coffee, you'll sell every house. Because I'll tell you what, the fucking Legends blend smells spectacular when you grind it. It's fucking great. Although John doesn't require me to grind anymore, so. That's
I get that smell on my own. It's fantastic.
I know, because you're losing those smell units when you grind it. But when I grind it, you lose those smell units. But when you have it at your house, I swear to God, though, if you can find a coffee that smells better when you grind it than mine, fucking email birdscoffeecompany@gmail.com because I haven't found it. And I've ground a lot of coffee. Ours smells pretty fucking good.
Absolutely. I can't quite place.
Have you ever had Maxwell House though?
You had Folgers.
Well, so what are the notes in it, right? So like when I grind it, it almost smells like sweet, almost like a wafer, like a vanilla.
Yeah, there's definitely, so there'll be some earthiness to it, but there's almost like it's not nougat because that's the other one. Nougat comes out a decent amount. Yeah, there's like almost like a sometimes a fig type note to it, like a nice rich, like a dried fruit kind of note. The Legends usually though is going to pull not so much citrus, but it'll do like a nutty character, which I go back and forth. I would say walnutty more than other nuts. And then sort of, like a I mean, I don't get like a full vanilla, but I get more of like the sweet. I'm trying to think of the taster's wheel in my head right now is the problem. And I'm blanking on the other sugar flavors that I pull from that one.
Well, whatever it is, it smells fantastic.
It's a great blend. It's a good blend.
Absolutely. Buy
Buy some coffee. Listen to our podcast. Tell other people to listen to this podcast. We have fun. You should too.
Couldn't have said any
Yep.
better myself.
Yeah, plenty of time now.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if there's probably a tweet going out or something next week. So next week,
Awesome.
check us out if we play. I hope.
We'll be there. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Wrong.